Divine Sword of the Douluo Spiritual Pearl. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101 Sword Lord Jun Tianlin. Hey, boy, where is your soul ring? Are you looking down on us if you don't even let go of the soul ring? Tianlin asked. Let it go now, don't worry, Tianlin said with a smile, and then 4 soul rings, 2 yellow and 2 purple, slowly appeared. It was a normal configuration, and no one said anything but at this time, Tangsun was completely frightened. After all, Tianlin's concealment talisman and transformation talisman were only the lowest level of talismans. Although they could hide them from others, they couldn't hide them from his purple demon eyes. What's the matter, mistress? What did you see? Flanders asked. This person's real soul ring. The second soul ring is 1,000 years, and the 4th soul ring is a black soul ring that lasts 10,000 years. Tangsun said in surprise. Hearing this, the others took a breath of cold air. Flanders understood this inexplicable soul ring configuration. After all, the matter of Tianlin's Millennium Second Ring had already spread throughout the continent, but he also knew about the 10,000 years 4th ring. Gang just knew. No wonder he wants to hide his martial soul and soul ring. Once this configuration is spread, people who are interested will definitely pay attention to it and even hunt it down. The game begins. Seeing that the 4 people were ready, the host immediately announced the start of the spirit battle. Tianlin rushed directly towards the 2 people opposite, and Ning Rangrang quickly added the double support of her 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda to Tianlin. Li Zhang, I'll hold that kid back while you deal with the 7 treasure glazed tile tower first, Tianlin ordered. In battle, it is an iron rule to kill the auxiliary first. No problem, brother, Li Zhang responded, leaped up, and raised his spear. The 3rd soul skill, spear attack. It was a 1,000-year soul skill at the beginning. He flicked the spear, and the spear flew towards Ning Rangrang. Although Rangrang used the drunken immortal moon watching step to avoid several attacks in a row, the spear seemed to have grown longer. Like eyes, they kept chasing Ning Rangrang. This is a soul skill lock. It is indeed a 1,000-year soul skill. Faced with this kind of attack, no matter how exquisite Rangrang's footwork is, it will be difficult to dodge unless Rangrang uses her soul bone skill. Flanders frowned. But in this kind of soul fighting, most people would not use soul bone skills casually, otherwise they would be easily targeted. Tianlin wanted to go up to the rescue, but at this moment, a huge shield blocked his face. It was Tianlin. The 1st soul skill, Golden Shield Protection. The 2nd soul skill, Golden Shield Strengthening. Tianlin used 2 soul skills in one go, just to stop Tianlin for a moment. It's a very decisive tactic, but even if I don't save Rangrang, there are other ways. Tianlin protected himself with his long sword, running Shushan's mental method, and said silently, heaven follows the 2 rules. Shushan, school's auxiliary sword move. The sword energy is controlled like running water, and the sword edge is turned invisibly, transferring the negative status of the body. Tianlin pulled the sword energy to Ning Rangrang. At this time, the only state Ning Rangrang was in was locked. This state was forcibly pulled out by Tianlin and transferred to Tianlin. Suddenly, the direction of Li Zhang's spear changed, and it flew towards Tianlin. Feeding. The shields and spears collided, making bursts of buzzing sounds. Both Tianlin and Li Zhang suffered varying degrees of trauma. One was stabbed by a spear, and the other was shocked by the shield. What? A move to use his spear to attack his shield. Tangsun praised secretly. He was even more convinced that Tianlin must have skills from other worlds just like him. The move just now was obviously not a soul skill, but a more sophisticated secret skill than what he had in the Zuanshan treasure record. Li Zhang, don't use soul skills to lock yourself anymore. That person doesn't know how to transfer your lock state from others, Tianlin reminded. But that auxiliary soul master has very weird footwork. If I don't use soul skills to lock it, I won't be able to defeat her in a short time. Li Zhang looked ugly. He used to be invincible in the back row auxiliary tactics, but now he is like this. It was easily cracked. In this case, let's change the target and stop staring at the Qibao glazed tile pagoda. Let's join forces to solve this sedum. Without the auxiliary object, what's the use of the Qibao glazed tile pagoda's auxiliary ability, no matter how strong it is? Qianming finished speaking. He rushed towards Tianlin decisively. When Li Zong saw this, he quickly followed his boss, seeing that the target of siege had changed from Ning Rangrang to himself. Tianlin couldn't get what he wanted. The mountains and rivers are filled with blood. Tianlin's body rotated with the long sword, and the blood-red sword energy scattered in all directions. Qianlin and Li Zong quickly used their martial spirits to resist. Fortunately for Qianlin, he was of the defensive type after all, and could barely hold on, but cracks began to appear on Li Zong's spear under the attack of the sword energy. Here comes the 7 kills sword technique. Flanders understood this time. What Tianlin was using now was Sword Douluo's unique skill to attack Washang. The 7 kills sword technique. The quality of Tianlin's martial soul is already more than one level higher than those two guys behind him, and with the assistance of the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda, Tianlin's attack power is much stronger than that of ordinary Soul Kings. Boss, is this guy's martial spirit really an ordinary longsword? How come the attack power is so much higher than my spear? Li Zong hid behind Qianlin and struggled to support himself. At this time, Qianlin was on the verge of reaching his limit, and his shield even began to have cracks. How do I know? I have never encountered such a situation. Could it be that the auxiliary ability of the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda has reached such an incredible level? Already, go down, otherwise you will be injured, and the world will collapse. Tianlin used the 4th form of the 7 kills sword technique. As soon as the sky collapsed and the earth shattered, the entire soul fighting platform shook. The majestic sword energy accompanied by the strong killing intent made people's hair stand on end. In just an instant, Qianlin and Li Zong were knocked out of the ring by this powerful blow. Tianlin was merciful and just hit the ground in front of them, using the power of vibration to push them out. Otherwise, if the two of them were hit directly, they would now be 2 corpses. It's amazing. I easily defeated 2 high-level soul sects without using any soul skills. Daimyo Bei and others were horrified, especially Ma Hanjin, who felt that joining the 7 treasures glazed sect was really a plus. I will follow Tianlin from now on to see who dares to bully him. Ning Rangrang was not surprised at this result. If Tianlin hadn't used all his strength to hide his identity, he would have defeated the 2 soul sects with one blow. After all, Tianlin's highest record in the sect was 1-7, and that's without her assistance. The reason why Tianlin can now use the 7 kills sword technique so freely is because in the past 3 years, he has killed people, and killed a lot. At first, Chenzin only took him to participate in a death match in the soul fighting arena. The first time, after he won, he chose to be merciful. As a result, he was almost killed by his opponent. Only then did he realize that, since it was a deathmatch, defeating the opponent is not enough, you must completely kill it to be considered a victory. So, that day, he committed suicide for the first time in his life. After returning home, he vomited for a long time, before he recovered. After that, in order to accumulate stronger murderous intent, Chenzin led Tianlin on a killing spree on the mainland. Bandits, bullies, adulterers, and even evil soul masters all fell to Tianlin's sword. There are already hundreds of people. This is the current sword master, Zhang Tianlin. Killing not only earned him a good reputation, but also made him more proficient in the 7 kills sword technique. Chapter 102 Showdown. Everyone's spirit fighting was over. Everyone registered their points and left the big spirit fighting arena. Boss Day, are you going to have some fun today? Mahanjan suddenly asked Daimyo Bei mysteriously. Normally, Daimyo Bei would have been tempted, but not today. His fiancée was here, so he had no choice but to refuse out of conscience. No, I don't have such bad taste as you. HMPH, disgusting. ZHU Zuking snorted coldly and left alone. She couldn't tell that Daimyo Bei used to be a frequent visitor to that kind of place. Now, he was just pretending to be pure in front of her. You. Hearing ZHU Zuking's words, Daimyo Bei wanted to get angry, but he knew that he was ashamed of her after all, so he forced himself to loosen his clenched fists and left in the other direction. Hangjin, you are not allowed to go to that kind of place again. Don't forget, you now have the ice soul pill, and the evil fire has been suppressed. You must not indulge in desire in the future, otherwise, you will not be able to join our 7 treasures glazed sect. Just pretend I didn't say it. Tianlin walked up to Mahangjin and said seriously, point in the past. Mahangjin lingered in the land of fireworks. It was for the sake of his own life. He could understand it, but not now. He would never allow the sect's future titled Douluo to be a guy addicted to lust. Point. If Mahangjin had the ability, he wouldn't care if he had 10 wives, but a place like that with fireworks would only make people more depraved. Character was more important than strength, otherwise he wouldn't want them, even if he was a genius. Hangjin, Tianlin is right. I allowed you to go there before to suppress the evil fire, but now that there are other ways, I will never allow you to fall further. Otherwise, Tianlin will help you. What's the point? Are you worthy of the treasure of the 7 treasures glazed sect? Flanders also warned seriously. After all, Mahangjin is his direct disciple, and he is extremely concerned about his future. Point. It was rare that Mahangjin was spotted by the Qibao glazed sect and had a good development platform. It would be a pity if he lost this great opportunity because he was addicted to that kind of place. Point. Hearing his new boss and Dan's teacher admonishing him like that, Mahangjin nodded and tried to restrain his desire. Boss, teacher, don't worry, I will never go to that kind of place again. Tianlin patted Mahangjin on the shoulder and said with a smile, very good, that's right. Overcoming one's own desires is also a kind of spiritual experience. If you become a clean and powerful soul master one day, you will definitely have many girls are attracted to you, and no matter if you want to marry a 3rd wife or a 4th concubine, I, as the boss, will prepare a big enough red envelope for you. After talking about Mahangjin, Tianlin turned to look at Tang-san. Brother Tang, it's our turn. Let's talk alone as promised. Tang-san couldn't wait any longer. He pointed in a direction and said, Brother Jun, please come this way. To left the team alone. Ningrangrang was very well behaved and knew that Tianlin must have something to say to Tang-san alone, so he didn't say much and followed Flanders and others back to Shrek Academy. But the little rabbit, because Tang-san was very unhappy leaving her and Tianlin behind, so he followed him quietly. Tianlin and Tang-san came to a park in the center of Soto City. It was getting late and there was no one here. Tang-san stopped and turned around, saying, Brother Jun, there is no one around here. If you have anything to say, just say it here. Tianlin nodded, and the forced sound reached Tang-san's ears. Brother Tang, please allow me to talk to you in this way. You'd better use the same method, otherwise there are ears across the wall. Tianlin knew that the 2 titled Douluo might be hiding somewhere at this time. After all, Tianlin was the treasure of the Qibao glazed sect, and Tang-san was the biological son of Haoshan Douluo. The 2 of them came out alone, and yin yang. It's strange that Tang Hao can rest assured. But there are some words that Tianlin doesn't want anyone to hear. Although Tang-san didn't know so much, he could sense that Xiao Wu was following quietly. He thought Tianlin was guarding against Xiao Wu, so he nodded and replied in the same way, no problem, June. Brother, the method of forcing the sound into a line and transmitting the sound into the secret is not a profound skill. Many sects have it, and places like Shushan sect and Tang sect are no exception. Brother Jun, you know that I'm from the Tang clan. Is it possible that you are from the same family as me? Tang-san was very cautious. Even if Tianlin revealed his Tang clan identity, he did not intend to say it himself. The fact that he is a time traveler means that he wants to give this sentence to Tianlin. Because he was not sure whether Tianlin was a time traveler like him, or whether he knew about the Tang sect through some other method. Therefore, his biggest secret must not be exposed easily by him. Tianlin smiled slightly, and his delicate thoughts were indeed the same as Tang-san's in the original work. Brother Tang, you don't need to test me. Like you, I come from another world. I recognized it from the battle you just had. What reveals your identity is that the footwork you just performed must be a ghost shadow, and the glowing eyes should be the rumored purple devil pupils. These are secret techniques that are not passed down to the public in the Tang sect. What? Tianlin wants to do today is to fool Tang San and make Tang San mistakenly think that he and he are from the same world. In this way, it will not be so strange for him to know the relevant information about Tang San's sect in the future. However, at this moment, Tianlin secretly held his soul guide because he didn't know what Tang San's reaction would be next. Would he be killed and silenced by the secret of the time traveler, or would he shed tears when a fellow countryman saw a fellow countryman? Woof woof. If it is the former, Tianlin can only deal with the protagonist of the original work today. The thing on the soul guide is prepared for Tang Heo. That is Tianlin's current trump card, which can kill Tang Heo. Tianlin understands, if you want to kill Tang San, you must do it to the extreme. Not only Tang Heo, but also Xiao Wu must be killed, so as not to cause trouble. But this time he underestimated Tang San. At first, Tang San did show a little bit of murderous intent, but soon it was replaced by a fake smile. I didn't expect that in this world of Douluo Continent. I can still meet other time travelers. In fact, I was doubting it just now. The swordsmanship you used before using the 7 kills swordsmanship was obviously not from this world. I just don't know what sect Brother Jun came from. Please forgive Tang San. I'm so ignorant that I didn't realize that Brother Jun is my master. Here are the disciples of Shushan sect. After Tianlin finished speaking, he smiled to himself. This time he was confused. How could he forget that the person in front of him was the wily Tang San? How could he do such an impulsive thing? At this time, Tang San still thought that he was just a commoner and his father was an ordinary blacksmith. How could he really take action when he was not sure that he could kill Tianlin with one blow? He had no power and rashly offended Tianlin. Tang San understood very well that in the Qibao Glazed sect, the gains outweigh the losses, and a small amount of impatience would ruin a big plan. Shushan sect. Tang San thought for a moment, but seemed to have never heard of this sect. This is of course, after all, the Shushan sect and his original Tang sect are not in the same world. But that didn't stop Tianlin from continuing to lie. Our Shushan sect is a reclusive sect. It's normal for Brother Tang not to know about it. How can we blame him? It turns out to be a hidden sect. I'm sorry. Tang San also cupped his fists and cupped his hands. What on earth are these two people talking about, and why have I never seen that etiquette before? Yin Yang, in your Qibao Glazed sect, is this fist cup style hand over hand salute popular now? Tang Heo, who was in the dark, was confused. Due to the secret communication between the two, even the title Douluo didn't know what they said. Yin Yang also looked confused. Why, this etiquette does not belong to your Haoshan sect. I have never seen Xiaoshan salute to others like this. Of course they wouldn't know, because this is etiquette from all major martial arts worlds, and only Tianlin and Tang San can understand it here. Chapter 103 Fooling Tang San. Brother Tang, I wonder which generation of disciples of the Tang sect you are? Before the time travel, the head of the Tang sect was the 14th generation. Tianlin casually made up a period, and then Tang San said no matter whether it was before or after the 14th generation, he had already thought of a way to continue his deception. 14th generation. It seems that although Brother Jun, you and I came from the same world, but we are not from the same period. I'm the 7th generation outer disciple of the Tang sect. Tang San was surprised and happy, but the two of them were shocked. After such a long time, he was able to travel to the same period. Fortunately, the Tang sect has developed to 14 generations later. This means that, after he left the Tang sect, the sect has also developed very well. Tangmen was a holy land in Tang San's heart. Even if he later returned to the Haoshan sect, I'm afraid the importance of the Haoshan sect in Tang San's heart was far less than that of the Tangmen, the 7th generation outer sect disciple. Brother Tang, Shushan, are very good at collecting intelligence. I once heard a story about the Tang sect in the sect. It is said that there is an outer sect disciple in the 7th generation of the Tang sect. Because of stealing after learning the secret art of the Tang sect, Zuanshan Baolu, he was forced by the elders of the Tang sect to jump to Gijianjiao. And that person happened to be named Tang San. Couldn't it be you? It was at that time that you traveled to Douluo Continent? Tianlin asked knowingly. Yes, it's me. It seems that Brother Jun's Shushan sect is really extraordinary. He actually knows about this matter. At this moment, Tang San had no doubt in his mind. Tianlin must be from the same world as him, otherwise how could he know? So clear. Tianlin smiled and congratulated. Then I would like to congratulate brother Tang. How? Happy, Tang San was puzzled, and Tianlin continued to explain. Brother Tang, did you think that you had been expelled from the Tang clan? In fact, it was not the case. After you jumped off to see the ghosts, those Tang clan elders regretted it. After all, you are the only person in the Tang sect in the past 100 years who has developed the Buddha's wrath Tang lotus, and can make the Tang sect show its glory. So, after that, they tried their best to find you. The then great elder of the Tang sect promoted you to an inner disciple, and promised that, as long as you live, you will be the heir to the position of head of the Tang sect. Really? Tang San suddenly grasped Tianlin's shoulders in excitement, tears welling up in his eyes. Unexpectedly, he was not expelled from the sect, he was still a disciple of the Tang sect. Of course, I'm willing to swear on my martial soul. If what I just said about you not being expelled from the school is false, your soul power will not be able to advance even an inch in your life, and your martial soul will be shattered and die. Tianlin swore seriously. He played a little trick and swore that he didn't lie to Tang San, but that he wasn't expelled from the master, because that was indeed true. At this time, Tang San didn't pay so much attention. He only knew that, since Tianlin dared to swear by his martial spirit, it meant that he wasn't lying to him. Tang San's knees weakened, and he fell to the ground, kowtowing 3 times to the sky, and burst into tears. Tang San, an inner disciple of the Tang sect, kneels here to thank the great elder for his love. Tang San may never be able to return to the sect in this life. To repay my great kindness, I swear here that I will definitely promote the name of my Tang sect on Douluo Continent. Why did my son suddenly kneel down and cry like this? Yin Yang, you must give me an explanation today. What did your boy say to my son? I have never seen him like this. When Heo saw this scene, he said angrily. His son was precocious. Ever since Tang San became sensible, Tang Heo had never seen him cry, let alone cry like this. Yin Yang quickly comforted him. Tang Heo, you see clearly, that boy of yours is not kneeling to my Ocean, but to the distance. He seems to be missing something. After Tang Heo heard this, he gradually calmed down. It seemed to be true. He seemed to have done such things before. He would miss the Haoshan sect from time to time. His expression at that time was very similar to Tang San now. Tianlin also didn't expect that Tang sect's obsession in Tang San's heart was so deep, and he had no intention of making Tang San cry. Brother. At this moment, Xiao Wu suddenly rushed out, helped Tang San up, and looked at Tianlin fiercely. Asshole, you dare to bully my brother. Sister Xiao Wu must teach you a lesson today. Saying that, Xiao Wu raised her long legs and prepared to kick her. Tang San quickly pulled her back. Xiao Wu was no match for Tianlin. He didn't want to see his sister get hurt. Xiao Wu, you misunderstood. Brother Jun and I did not have a dispute. On the contrary, he told me a very important news. After Tang San finished speaking, he walked towards Tianlin and said gratefully, Brother Jun, what are you doing today? What you told me is the best news I have heard in the past 10 years. In addition, you saved my life in the past, and Tang San was unable to repay you for your 2 great kindnesses. If you ask for anything from now on, Tang San will do his best. When it comes to situations, Tang San is always the most fluent in what he says. There will be generous rewards in the future. Whether he will remember what happened today is still a question. Therefore, Tianlin simply struck while the iron was hot and said it without hesitation. That's great. I told you so much because I wanted to ask for something, so I won't be polite this time. Tang San was stunned. This guy's really not polite at all, but it is good to return the favor to him as soon as possible. He immediately said, Brother Jun is really straightforward. Whatever you need Tang San to do, just say it clearly. Okay, I hope to reach a cooperation with you and buy something from you. Tianlin said bluntly, Brother Tang, you also know that I'm now a member of the Qibao Glazed sect and a direct disciple of my sect. They are all auxiliary soul masters with little combat ability, and your hidden weapons can very well make up for their shortcomings. Therefore, I want to buy the manufacturing process blueprints for the Zhuge Divine Crossbow, Silent Sleeve Arrow, Innuendo, and Flying Divine Claw from you. This time Tianlin didn't want to be like the original work, only producing the materials, and Tang San was responsible for the production, so that the initiative was always in Tang San's hands. What? Tang San was shocked when he heard this. Brother Jun, do you know that these are mechanical hidden weapons that our Tang sect does not spread to others? Tianlin nodded. Of course I know, but among the hidden weapon secrets, these are only relatively basic. I don't believe it. Your Tang sect has never leaked it once. Besides, what I want is not a pear blossom needle like a heavy rain, or a secret treasure like Buddha's angry Tang lotus. How about, if you are willing, I can give you 1 million gold soul coins. 1 million gold soul coins. My god, how many carrots can you buy? Brother, what are you waiting for? Why are you hesitant? Xiao Wu, the little rabbit, heard that 1 million gold soul coins, and his whole body was filled with excitement. Got a knife or money point. She didn't know the importance of these hidden weapons in Tang San's heart. Tang San was still a little hesitant. Brother Jun, you said before that in addition to buying things, you also want to cooperate with me. Can you explain it together, so that I can comprehensively explain it? Get up and think about it. Tang San was always Tang San, an old fox, and he really wasn't that easy to agree to point, but it doesn't matter, because Tianlin does have other things, so it doesn't hurt to talk about it first. Okay, the other thing is cooperation, and the things to cooperate with are the more precious finished products of Buddha's angry Tanglian or heavy rain pear blossom needle. Just the finished product, no drawings required. Chapter 104. The deal is concluded. Buddha's angry Tang lotus, rainstorm pear blossom needle. Tang San was stunned. This Tianlin's appetite was really big. Things like the silent sleeve arrow and the Zhuge divine crossbow are just basic hidden weapons. Even if they are given out, they are actually harmless and will not affect the foundation of the Tang sect. However, these differences like the Buddha's furious Tang lotus are the real treasures of the sect. Fortunately, Tianlin was talking about the finished product, which meant that the most important production drawings were still in Tang San's own hands. Brother Jun, you don't know something. The production process of Buddha's Fury Tang Lotus is extremely complex, and the materials required are also very precious. In my current situation, it is impossible to make it. Tang San said truthfully. This is the direction of cooperation I mentioned. Tang San, do you know why our Qibao glazed sect is called the richest sect? Tianlin asked with a smile. Of course it's because the Qibao glazed pagoda's world famous auxiliary ability has attracted countless affiliated families to join, and everyone develops together, which makes your sect's economy so developed. Tang San complimented, and what he said was indeed an important factor. However, the Qibao glazed pagoda actually has a secret. Tianlin shook his head and said, Brother Tang, you are just talking about external factors. In addition to its strong auxiliary capabilities, the Qibao glazed pagoda also has extremely excellent treasure appraisal capabilities. Many precious ores. None of them can escape the appraisal of the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda. For example, blue crystal ore, dragon bone, titanium metal, deep sea immersed silver, etc. I think the sect has some stocks. That's true. Tang San's eyes lit up. What Tianlin said were precious materials for making superior hidden weapons. If he could really get these, coupled with his clear sky hammer, he might be able to recreate the Tang sect's most powerful hidden weapon. Of course you take it seriously. So, Brother Tang, you sell me the blueprints of those basic concealed weapons and we will make them ourselves. In the future, you will concentrate on studying advanced concealed weapons. The materials will be provided by us. The condition is that, if you develop the Buddha's Furious Tang Lotus or it's something like the Rainstorm Pear Blossom Needle, and the first one must be given to my sect, this is a win-win situation for us. The direct disciples of our sect can gain combat power through hidden weapons, and you can use a sect to develop your Tang sect. You also know, right? A force must develop. First of all, you need someone, and the prerequisite for someone is money. It just so happens that money is the least valuable thing to me. Qibao glazed sect, money, is worthless. Tianlin said this a bit arrogantly, but he had to admit that what he said was the truth. Such cooperation would be of great benefit to both the Qibao Glazed sect and the Tang sect. Point at this time, Tangsun still didn't know his identity as a disciple of the Haotian sect. He had always thought that his father was a village blacksmith with no power or strength, so he had to rely on himself to develop the sect, especially after he learned that he was a disciple of the Haotian sect. After he was not expelled from the sect, his sense of responsibility towards Tang sect became even heavier at present. What he needs most is money and precious metals, and the 7 treasure glazed sect has those things. Tangsun no longer hesitated, and immediately said, okay, no problem, brother Jun, give me one night, and hand over the hidden weapon blueprints, but I also ask brother Jun to agree that these blueprints must not be leaked to other sects, including yourselves. Including those affiliated families of the sect, of course. I promise not to spread the word. It's such a pleasure to cooperate. This is a 1 million gold soul coin card. Please accept it. Tianlin took out a gold card without hesitation, which was the card he had with before arriving. Ning Fengzi wants it. Ning Fengzi trusted Tianlin very much and simply stuffed it into his hand without asking him what it was for. However, Tianlin didn't spend it frivolously. The things he bought would definitely make Ning Fengzi feel that they were worth the money. Tangsun didn't take the gold card. After all, paying the money with one hand and delivering the goods with the other is the correct way. He originally wanted to wait until the blueprints were sent out tomorrow, but he didn't expect that the little rabbit on the side had quick eyes and quick hands and took the gold card first. Just as Tangsun was about to say something, Xiao Wu pushed back. Why, brother, can't I take care of your money? Okay, as long as you don't spend it randomly. Tangsun said sarcastically. Haha, the relationship between the 2 brothers and sisters is really good. Today's transaction went so smoothly. I'm in a good mood. I'll give you another meeting gift. Take it. Tianlin took out 2 medicine bottles from his arms and threw them to the 2 of them respectively. People. Tangsun, yours is Zuaniu and An, a pill that assists in cultivation. You can use it to help you break through level 30. Xiao Wu, yours is Zixi pill. As the name suggests, take one. After taking the pill, the whole body's aura can be restrained within a period of time, and even the most powerful person cannot see through it. Even if it takes the form of a 100,000-year-old soul beast, it can still avoid the detection of powerful people above control. Tianlin said half-jokingly. After hearing this, Tangsun felt grateful. Zuaniu and An could help break through level 30, so it was considered a good medicine, but Xiao Wu felt a turmoil in his heart. Why would this person say such things to him? Could it be that he knew that he was the incarnation of a 100,000-year-old soul beast, but he was only over 40 levels, so it was impossible to see through it? Is that a coincidence? No, it must be a coincidence. Xiao Wu comforted herself in her heart. After all, theoretically speaking, if Tianlin had seen through her, it would be impossible for him to let her go so easily and even give her life-saving things like Lengxi pills. But this coincidence helped her a lot. After entering a high-level Soul Master Academy, she had been worried that she would inevitably meet a high-level Soul Master. With this breath-gathering pill, her safety was greatly improved. Thank you. You are so polite. If anything happens in the future, Sister Xiao will protect you. Xiao patted Tianlin on the shoulder, looking like a bad girl. Who is covering whom? Tianlin murmured in his heart. If he hadn't been temporarily interested in Xiao Wu's soul ring and soul bones, he might have reminded his master and Ning Fengzi to arrest her as early as when they were at Notting Junior College. Tang Heo, who was expelled from the sect and seriously injured, at most made the Qibao Glazed sect a little afraid, but far from being afraid. The allure of a 100,000-year soul ring and soul bone was much greater than this, but the 2 of them didn't know that he had no good intentions in giving them the elixir. The Zuaniu and An was made of gold and jade. Although it looked as luxurious as an elixir and exuded a delicate fragrance, its actual medicinal properties were not even 1/10 of the elixir. The improved soul power is mixed, and the foundation is unstable, and according to the original work, Tangsun will complete the breakthrough within these few days. Taking this Zuaniu pill now will be harmful rather than helpful to Tangsun. After all, level 30 is a watershed in the early stage of a soul master. The foundation here has not been laid well. Unless Tangsun spends a lot of time to sort it out later, it will definitely affect his later cultivation point. As for the Zixi pill, it was even more of a huge trap. Soon, Tangsun would lose one of his biggest opportunities because of this pill point. This is Tianlin's preparation to suppress Tangsun's power. He can be strong, but he doesn't need to be as strong as in the original work. As long as he can become a target to attract Wuhan Palace and help Tianlin share the firepower, it is enough. Therefore, he has some opportunities. Tianlin wants to destroy it. Otherwise, who knows if the fully grown Tangsun will bite the 7 treasure glazed tile sect back. Point with how much Tangsun valued the Tang sect when he was stronger than anything else. He might not be able to tolerate the Tang sect's hidden weapons being mastered by other sects. At that time, if the Qibao glazed sect did not obey the Tang sect, I'm afraid it would end up like the original story. Marginalized by the empire, even on the verge of extinction point. Although Tianlin was confident that he could always be stronger than Tangsun, he was too lazy to gamble. Wouldn't it be better to get rid of the threat as soon as possible? If Tangsun was still useful to him, and he had no enmity with him, he would have killed him long ago. As for the effect of the Zixi pill, when he wanted Xiao Wu to be exposed, he could make the effect disappear at any time. Haha, I'll take my leave now. See you tomorrow morning. Tianlin said goodbye to the two of them with a secret smile and returned to Shrek Academy. Point at the gate. Ning Rangrang has been waiting for him to come back. Now Ning Rangrang only has eyes for him. He has no interest in paying attention to the messy matter between Daimyo Bei and Zhu Zuking, so there is no dispute between the original author and Daimyo Bei. Thinks this must be considered good luck for Daimyo Bei, otherwise Tianlin would not care about his status as Prince of Xingluo, and if he dared to bully Rangrang, the magic sword would kill him at any time. Tianlin did not take Ning Rangrang into the academy. After all, it was too shabby. Now that he is here, of course he cannot let Rangrang live in such a place. So the two of them came to the city and checked into a luxury hotel. Flanders didn't bother to care about this matter. Anyway, as long as Rangrang didn't be late for class tomorrow. Chapter 105. Ning Rangrang breaks through level 30. Brother Jian, your real purpose in coming to Shrek Academy this time is actually for that Tangsun, right? It's just a way to see me, right? Back at the hotel, Ning Rangrang pouted. She was so smart that she had already discovered that throughout the whole day today, Tianlin paid more attention to Tangsun than she did. Of course not. None of the 10 Tangsuns can compare to you in my heart, but he is a target that can be used. Tianlin had no intention of hiding anything from Ning Rangrang. Point. After recounting the transaction, Ning Rangrang covered her mouth in surprise. Really? This Tangsun can really create such a powerful thing called a hidden weapon, which can greatly increase the combat effectiveness of my direct disciples. Tianlin said seriously, how could I lie to you, the future sect leader, about such an important matter? These hidden weapons are of extremely high value. As long as we have the blueprints, our sect can start mass production. Even ordinary Zhuge divine crossbows can be produced in batches. It is enough to pose a threat to the Soul Sect, and the best hidden weapon, the Buddha's Fury Tang Lotus, can even instantly kill a large number of powerful Soul Saints and above. No wonder Brother Jian made a special trip to find him. If so, his value to our 7 treasures, Glazed Sect is really very high. Ning Rangrang has grown up a lot, and now she is gradually able to look at problems from the perspective of the sect leader. Naturally she will not continue to be angry because Tianlin ignored her today. Point. Because of this, Ning Rangrang has gradually begun to come into contact with various secrets of the sect. Tianlin's twin martial arts have not been hidden from her anymore. However, when Ning Rangrang learned the truth, she was furious for 3 days. He ignored Tianlin and Ning Fengxi. Point. After all, the elder and the younger teamed up to deceive her about gem-like soul bones that could increase her cultivation. They were all made up, and the root cause turned out to be twin martial souls. Tianlin nodded towards her. Yes, so from now on, the equipment of the sect disciples will be these hidden weapons. As for Rangrang, I have other plans. Don't I need these hidden weapons? By the way, it's the talisman you told me about, Brother Jian, right? Ning Rangrang said happily. Sure enough, She is special, and Tianlin will always be the most partial to her. Tianlin smiled and touched her hair, not denying that, yes, it was a talisman. Shushan sect had many powerful offensive talismans, which were far more powerful than hidden weapons. Unfortunately, Tianlin now had two difficulties. The first is that he is not skilled enough to make large quantities of talismans. The second is that he does not understand the five spirits immortal technique, so he cannot yet make the talisman of wind and fire, which sets fire to the sky, and the talisman of fire and earth where the stars sink and shake the earth. These are large scale attack spells. Therefore, the hidden weapon Tianlin really wants is the Buddha's Furious Tanglian. As for the single target heavy rain pear blossom needle, he has other methods to replace it. That is Shushan's strongest single target attack spell, Demonic Flame Flash Slash. This curse is named after Slash. As the name suggests, it is a talisman similar to Shushan swordsmanship. It is the killing move of Zhu Changqing, the 23rd generation leader of Shushan sect, when he was young. It is so powerful that, even if it is made with Tianlin's current skill, it will, only if you can complete it. You can also kill the title Douluo. In the past few years, Tianlin has devoted himself to researching this talisman, but unfortunately he has not yet succeeded. However, after trying hundreds of times in the past 3 years, Tianlin finally completed 3 of another super powerful auxiliary spells. Their names are the Star Shifting Talisman and the Ultra Long Distance Teleportation Talisman. As long as they are marked with good coordinates, people who use a Star Movement Talisman can move to the coordinate point instantly. These 3 talismans are now on the bodies of Tianlin, Ningrangrang and Shenzhen respectively. The coordinate points in the hands of Tianlin and Rangrang are located within the sect and can be used to escape at any time, while the coordinate points in Shenzhen's hands are Zhang's coordinates were engraved on Tianlin's portable soul guide. Tianlin can use these coordinates to summon Shenzhen in reverse, which means that he is now carrying a level 98 Super Douluo as his bodyguard. This is why he dared to show off with Tangsun today. If Tangsun didn't want to expose his identity as a time traveler, and not only refused to cooperate with him, but actually killed him, then he would just kill Tangsun instead. Anyway, to Tianlin, Tangsun was just a target of use, and could be used. If you use it, it doesn't matter. If you don't use it, you can kill it. Shenzhen was naturally prepared to prevent Tang Heo from getting angry. With Shenzhen's current strength, Tang Heo, who was full of hidden wounds, could not be his opponent. Fortunately, Tangsun was sensible. Whether it was because he was afraid of the power behind Tianlin, or because he thought he was a fellow countryman, in short, he was able to save his and Tang Heo's lives. After explaining the matter, Ningrangrang meditated instead of sleeping. It was rare for Tianlin to come back, so of course she had to cherish the increase in the holy breath barrier. In the early morning of the next day, at dawn, the two of them woke up from their trance. Ningrangrang observed the soul power in her body with surprise. She had a breakthrough. Brother Jan, I have entered level 30. Looking at the excited Ningrangrang, Tianlin praised, well, an auxiliary soul master can reach level 30 before the age of 12 without taking any immortal products. Rangrang, you are indeed outstanding. Tianlin was also happy for her. After all, level 30 is a watershed in the early stage of a soul master. Many soul masters have been trapped in the realm of great soul masters all their lives. The sooner they break through level 30, the further they can go in the future. Moreover, Rangrang's entry into the Soul Master meant that she could take the Heaven Building Pill, which was the biggest benefit. That to return to Shrek Academy and prepared to explain the situation to everyone. At this time, everyone except Oscar was already standing on the square, waiting for Flender to come to class. When Tangsun saw Tianlin, he immediately came over and handed over a few drawings. Brother Jun, these are the hidden weapon making drawings you want. Please keep them. Thank you. Tianlin took the drawing and glanced at Tang-san. Brother Tang, have you also broken through level 30? Brother Jun's eyes are indeed as bright as fire, and I have to thank Brother Jun for the elixir he sent last night. If it weren't for that Zuo and An, I might not have been able to go so smoothly. Tang-san thanked him. Hearing his words, the others were filled with excitement, envious. Brother Jun, this elixir of yours is so powerful. Do you have more? I can pay for it. Damubei said directly. he was still under a lot of pressure. If there was such a treasure elixir to assist him in his cultivation, maybe he can save his life in the future. Yes, Daimube has not even thought about competing with his brother yet. All he thinks about is how to save his life. If he cannot save his life, then he can eat, drink and have fun while he is still alive. To this, Tianlin decisively refused and said, the elixir that can allow a person to break through level 30 is also top grade in our sect. It is extremely difficult to refine. I only brought one with me this time. I'm sorry, Brother Day. Daimube was a little disappointed when he heard this. Yes, such a precious elixir must be the treasure of the sect, and Tangsun must have given the Qibao glazed sect a great benefit to get it. He was delusional. In fact, although the refining of Zuanio and Dan is more troublesome, if Tianlin really wanted to, it would not be difficult to refine a few pills. However, he had no reason to give them to Daimube. The reason is very simple. Daimube is neither one of his own, nor has any use value. Tianlin gave Tangsun the elixir because Tangsun could use it. He had hidden weapons, had Haoshan Douluo's father, and happened to have a deep grudge against Wuhan Palace. Gave Mahanjan the elixir because the little fat man had agreed to join the sect, and it was hard to say whether Daimube and Zhu Zuking, who had lost the fairy grass, could pass the test of Davis and Zhu Zuan. Tianlin didn't want to make such a completely useless investment. Besides, what could Daimube give Tianlin? Money? Sorry, the Qibao glazed sect is most in need of money. Not long after, Flanders slowly walked out. When he saw Ning Rangrang and Tang San, his eyes suddenly lit up. With his soul-sane cultivation, how could he not see that these two people had reached level 30? This is really a surprise. There are only a few 12-year-olds at level 30 on the entire continent. Equally happy as him were Tang Heo and Yin Yang. How's it going, Tang Heo? Our little princess is awesome, isn't she? Have you ever seen such a young auxiliary soul master before? Yin Yang said with a grin. Tang Heo shook his head. I have indeed never seen such an outstanding person. Even Ning Feng's he was far inferior when he was young, but my mistress is not bad at all. Didn't you see that he also broke through level 30? HMPH. Tangsun is a battle spirit master. Can that be the same as the auxiliary system? Yin Yang said unconvinced, but what he said did make sense. If the training efficiency of a battle soul master and an auxiliary soul master are the same, it can be considered that the qualifications of the auxiliary soul master are superior to that of the battle soul master. Tang Heo was left speechless. Who would have thought that the Qibao glazed sect would not only produce a freak like Tianlin, but also Ning Rangrang, the successor as the sect leader, would be so outstanding. Chapter 106. I won't offend anyone unless they offend me. 6 of the 7 students from Shrek Academy have come now, leaving only one Oscar after a long time. He arrived late. Flanders wanted to reprimand him, but he got the news that Oscar had also exceeded level 30, and he was so happy that he smiled. In one day, all 3 students broke through level 30. It was truly God's blessing to Shrek. Flender immediately decided that after class today, he would let Zhao Wuji take everyone to the Stardao forest to hunt spirit beasts in the dark. Tang Heo said to Yin Yang, Brother Yin Yang, I want to ask you something. I know that Ning Rangrang is going to hunt the soul beast, and you will definitely accompany him to protect him. Could you please also protect that boy of mine? Huh? From what you say, are you ready to leave? Yin Yang asked. Tang Heo nodded. Yes, I still have some things to do, so I'll leave you alone. With you as a titled Douluo here, I can rest assured I'm not that free. Don't forget about the 100,000-year soul beast. Do you think I will help you? Yin Yang had a grudge against Tang Heo, so how could he agree to help him? Tang Heo had already expected this. I won't ask you to do it in vain. This is protection money. After saying that, Tang Heo turned his hands and conjured a set of pitch black armor from nowhere. Is this Heshin? Yin Yang recognized this set of armor. This armor was soft armor. In the past, Tang Heo was one of the 3 great craftsmen of Douluo Continent. The Heshin armor was his proud work when he was young. This set of armor not only has extremely high defense, enough to block several attacks at the average Soul Emperor level, it is also made of extremely special metal and has strong ductility. It can be worn by people of any body shape. It can be regarded as a masterpiece. Not to mention how precious it is, but it is barely enough as protection money for a few days. Okay, but let me say it first. I can only protect Tangsun as much as possible besides protecting Rangrang and Xiaoshan. If there is a danger that even I can't solve, I will save him as soon as possible. It's my own child. Don't blame me when the time comes. Although Yin Yang agreed, he also said ugly things first. Tang Heo wasn't angry when he heard this. This was human nature, but he didn't worry too much. After all, he just wanted to hunt the 1,000-year soul beast, and he would probably just hang around outside the Stardow forest. Even if Yin Yang didn't take action, he could only rely on Zhao Wuji as enough. He just wanted to add an extra layer of insurance. Since Yin Yang promised to take care of Tang San, he could leave with peace of mind. Brother Jun, are you going to go with us on this trip to the Stardow forest? At the gate of the academy, Tang San asked Tianlin. After all, he was not from the academy, and the dean could not order him to do anything. Tianlin nodded. That's natural. Rangrang's third soul ring is very important. I must check it myself. Tianlin will not be absent this time, because he still has a plan to implement, and for some reason, ever since he and Shenzhen visited the Stardow forest, he always felt that there was something in the forest that was attracting him. Curiosity prompted him to visit the Star Forest again. You little bastards, are you ready? We are about to set off. At this time, Zhao Wuji walked out with a bag on his head. Compared with the original work, not only did he have traces of being injured by a huge force, but his skin and flesh there are still many places scorched by lightning. Tianlin secretly laughed with schadenfreude. This guy must have bullied a child just like in the original work. It didn't matter to others, but since he bullied Rangrang, he deserved to be beaten by Grandpa Eagle. Hearing the word little bastard, Xiao Wu, who was in the form of a rabbit, felt a little reluctant and whispered, why don't you say little bear is blind? As a soul saint, how could Zhao Wuji not hear it with his strong ears? He glared at Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu, what are you talking about? Tang San immediately protected Xiao Wu behind him like a baby. Seeing Tang San, Zhao Wuji thought of the power of Sword Douluo. His wound ached slightly, but he didn't say anything. Everyone hurried on their way, and in order to speed up, everyone used their soul power with all their strength. Tianlin noticed that he could not feel Xiao Wu's breath at all at this moment. It seemed that she had already taken a breath-reducing pill. This was also expected by Tianlin. In this world, the only people who could identify Xiao Wu's identity were strong human beings above level 80 or other 100,000-year soul beasts, and then she herself. The first step in getting the breath-lengthening pill was of course to try it to see if it was real. When she found out yesterday that even she couldn't sense the aura of a 100,000-year-old soul beast, she was so excited that she could finally do it. Completely relieved to accompany Tang San to explore the mainland. Tianlin smiled slightly. This was exactly what he wanted. The first step in destroying an important opportunity for Tang San was completed. As night fell, everyone was very close to the Star Forest, but it was more dangerous to enter the forest at night, so they stopped. When they reached a small town. In the small town, Zhao Wuji led everyone to the door of an ordinary looking hotel and said, let's stay here. We will set off early tomorrow morning. You will bear the cost of accommodation and meals yourself. This guy has been with Flanders for a long time and has completely inherited his stinginess. Rangrang, just stay in the same room with me. Tianlin stroked Rangrang's hair and smiled. He would take Ning Rangrang to practice together at night. Ning Rangrang nodded obediently. They had been sleeping in the same room since they were young, and there was no longer any shyness between men and women. Of course, they are still in love but polite, and have never done anything to distance themselves. After all, they are still young, and they should focus on cultivation at the moment. Hangjin, open a restaurant by yourself, and charge the cost to my account. You can order whatever you want later. Our Qibao glazed sect is not short of money. Tianlin then looked at Mahangjin. He said to his younger brother, always excellent point. As long as Mahangjin is loyal to the sect in the future, he doesn't mind giving him the best as he did with Guran. Thank you, boss. It seems that I have joined a very generous sect. I will not have to worry about food and drink in the future. Mahanjan said excitedly. He was not polite and immediately ordered a large table of dishes. Everyone was about to start eating when suddenly, the hotel door was kicked open and a group of people with arrogant faces walked in. The leader was about 40 years old. Behind them were a group of 17 or 18-year-old boys and girls, dressed in the uniforms of Kanghu Academy, a senior Soul Master Academy, looking very flamboyant. As soon as he entered the door, a young man looked very arrogant. He pulled over the shop owner and said, "Boss, please open a first-class room for us, and serve us the best food. Do you understand?" The restaurant owner knew that they were all soul masters, so he nodded and bowed his head and agreed with unspeakable politeness. Tianlin finally understood why the original Shrek Academy wanted to provoke them. Apart from the school motto that not daring to cause trouble is mediocre, this group of people was indeed too arrogant, which made people very uncomfortable to watch. Who are these guys, and why are they so arrogant? Tianlin just thought about it in his mind, while Xiao Wu asked directly. "It's just a small Kanghu Academy, so show off." They were arrogant, and Daimyo Bei was even more arrogant than them, mocking them mercilessly. "That's right." Mahanjan wanted to echo, but a hand pressed on his hand to stop him from continuing. "Boss, what are you doing?" Tianlin shook his head. "No matter how arrogant they are, it has nothing to do with us. As long as they don't offend us, Hanjin, don't offend them at will." Hearing this, Daimyo Bei was a bit disdainful. "Haha, brother Jun, although you are strong, you are so timid and afraid of getting into trouble. Haven't you heard a sentence? You are mediocre if you don't dare to cause trouble." "Humph, that's what you Shrek said. Our Qibao Glazed sect's purpose is not to cause trouble, not to be afraid of trouble, and I will not offend anyone unless they offend me." Tianlin retorted. When he first read this scene in his previous life, he thought Shrek's behavior was very handsome and unrestrained. However, after the last incident at the academy, Tianlin's mind changed. Using his strength to cause trouble at will was not the same as using his power to bully others. Daimyo Bei didn't want to talk about the difference, but since Mahanjan chose to join the sect, some problems must be corrected. Chapter 107. If someone offends me, I'll raid his whole house. In that case, just watch from here. Daimyo Bei smiled arrogantly. Tianlin didn't say much. He didn't want to cause trouble, but it didn't matter if he watched a good show. It just so happened that there was a big table of delicious food in front of him, so it was good to be a melon-eating crowd. "Boss, are we really not going to take action?" Mahanjan asked. "Try not to move. If necessary, you can report the name of the Qibao Glazed sect." Tianlin recalled something and said with his eyes closed, "I made a mistake when I was young. When I first entered the Royal Academy, I didn't want to rely on the sect. As a result, I concealed my identity and made enemies with the nobles there. This incident was taken advantage of by people with malicious intentions, making our sect and the Balak Kingdom now incompatible situation. Since then, I have changed my mind. If you have power, use it. It is not wrong to use power to protect yourself. You don't have to use it to bully others." Tianlin used his own experience to warn Mahanjan, hoping that he would not make the same mistake again. At this time, a waiter brought a plate of dishes to their table. Because Daimyo Bei had just ridiculed him, a young student from Kanghu College deliberately tripped the waiter. The waiter was unsteady on his feet and fell in the direction of Daimyo Bei, spilling all the dishes. If Daimyo Bei didn't dodge, he would be poured with vegetable soup. At this time, Tangsun used the Tang sect's technique of controlling a crane and capturing a dragon, grabbed the plate, and took down all the vegetable soup. "Don't waste food." Daimyo Bei quickly took action and slapped the young man with soul power on the chest, causing his whole body to arch backward and fly out. Moreover, Daimyo Bei's attack direction was very accurate, and the man flew out. The direction is exactly the dining table of Kanghu College. Seeing this, the middle-aged man from Kanghu College stretched out a hand to catch the young man steadily. Judging from his relaxed look, this man's strength was not lower than the Soul King level. He should be the Kanghu College man. "Teacher Wugi, what? A bunch of arrogant boys. Come on over and teach them a lesson." The students of Kanghu College couldn't hold it any longer. After hearing this order, they rushed forward Unfortunately, this group of guys, although they were 17 or 18 years old, but their soul power level was only over 20. Even the martial soul didn't even have time to open, and was beaten to pieces by Xiao Wu, who suddenly jumped out. She was born as a soul beast, and has the same temperament as Dame Yu Bei. She is relatively wild, and not afraid of causing trouble at all. You idiots, activate your martial soul first and then charge, the teacher from Kanghu College said angrily. Hearing this, the students at Kanghu Academy activated their martial spirits one after another. Deer, sheep, horses, forks and spears were all relatively common martial spirits. Their soul rings were also configured with one white and one yellow. It's really not that good. However, these people are very cautious. They seem to regard Tianlin as being with Dame Yu Bei, who provoked them. The soul master holding the spear actually used his first soul skill and stabbed towards him. Come, stop, I'm from the Qibao Glazed sect, please don't ask for trouble. Tianlin glared at him and said, huh, Qibao Glazed sect? Who can believe it? They were afraid of us, so they pretended to be Qibao Glazed sect. It's too late. The man still refused to give up and stabbed straight at him with his spear. Stupid. Tianlin grabbed the spear and remained motionless. Mahanjin seemed to want to take action, but was afraid of Tianlin's lesson, and hesitated. At this time, Tianlin said, Hanjin, you can take action now. I will not offend anyone, unless they offend me. There is another sentence behind it. If someone offends me, I will raid his house. Since, after he reported his name, these Kanghu Academy members still wanted to attack him regardless of life and death, it was only natural for him to fight back. Otherwise, people outside would think that the Qibao Glazed sect was easy to bully. What? A kind. Look at me. Mahanjin punched out excitedly, knocking the spear soul master away. He had endured it until now. He originally thought that Tianlin was the kind of person who would endure it over and over again, but he didn't expect that he would retaliate for his anger, which really sweeted his taste. Afraid that Xiao Wu would be injured, Tang San also called her back to take action himself. Together with Dame Yu Bei and Mahanjin, his strength was far superior to that of his opponents. In less than half a cup of tea, the people from Kanghu College had already all lay flat on the ground. Looking at the childish teenagers in front of him, the teacher from Kanghu College was a little surprised that they were so young, but had such strength. He suspected that these people might be born from a certain big family. I am Yuzaki, director of the Foreign Affairs Department of Kanghu College. Which sect are you from? Yuzaki behaved very politely. After all, he knew that some people could not afford to offend. We are from Shrek Academy. I'm from Shrek Academy now, and from now on I'll be from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile sect. Didn't I just say that? Why, you still don't believe it, Day? Yu Bei and Mahanjin answered respectively, and Tianlin nodded with satisfaction. Although Mahanjin was a bit lazy, he had one thing that was very good. He would stick to what he decided on. Just like in the original book, when he decided to follow Tang San to establish the Tang sect, he would make every effort to conquer the 4 major clans with single attributes. He also contributed. There is also Bei Chengxiang. The moment he recognized her, Mahanjin never had any other thoughts. Tianlin also decided to admit this person into the sect, based on these aspects of the original work. Could it be that he really belongs to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile sect? Yuzaki thought, how could he not be afraid of this behemoth with 4 Douluo sects now? Moreover, the talents of the few people in front of him were terrifyingly high. Even if they were not from the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile sect, they would definitely be. He was born in a certain big family, and in line with the principle that doing more is worse than doing less, he immediately said, it turns out that he is a genius cultivated by Qibao Glazed sect. This time we are rude. If we don't fight, we don't know each other, so let's let this matter go. Wait a minute, do you know that the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile sect won't give us Shrek face? Dame Yu Bei was unhappy and said coldly, Shrek Academy. Yuzaki murmured to himself after hearing this, why have I never heard of this academy? Is it also secretly established by the Qibao Glazed sect? Dame Yu Bei denied his conjecture. Shrek has nothing to do with the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile sect. As for you not having heard of it, well, that's just because you are ignorant. Hearing this, Yuzaki felt relieved. He had already given in, but the other party still didn't know what was good and what was good. So there was no need for him to be polite and said arrogantly, "Humph, your teacher never taught you to respect your elders. Well, if not, then let me teach you a lesson on their behalf." Zhuangui, possessed, Yi. Ziqiu was possessed by the martial spirit. His limbs were slightly shortened. Green tortoise shells were raised on his back. Green light flashed all over his body, and 5 spirit rings, 1 white, 2 yellow, and 2 purple, were hovering around his body. Sure enough, he was a powerful Soul King. The ordinary people in the restaurant all exclaimed. The people at the bottom naturally respect a rare person like the Soul King. Teach us a lesson instead of our teacher. Huh, you, an old turtle, don't have the qualifications, Mahanjan said angrily. His teacher was Flanders, and he had always respected his teacher very much. Ning Rang Grang also stepped forward and planned to help. Although she was the little princess of the 7 Treasures Glazed sect, she was now also a member of Shrek. She could not just watch her classmates fight while staying out of it. Seeing Ning Rang Grang's 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda, Ziqiu hesitated again. He originally thought that only a few of these people were disciples of families affiliated with the 7 treasure glazed tile sect, so it wouldn't hurt to give them a lesson point, but what she didn't expect was that there was another direct line. If this hurt her, it would be troublesome. Tianlin didn't want to see Ning Rang Grang injured, so he took a step forward and said, "Mr. Ziqiu, although Damu Bei provoked this incident first, it is also true that your students attacked me indiscriminately. How about this? I will work with you. No matter what happens in a battle of spirits, no matter which side loses, they must kowtow to the other side and apologize. Since Kanghu Academy attacked him, there is no problem for him to fight back now. This is the so-called courtesy." Chapter 108, the 4th soul skill, Flowing Light Immortal Killing Slash. Okay, I've given you my face as the young master of the Qibao Glazed sect, and I'll fight you one-on-one until the end. Ziqiu is still a little timid towards Tianlin. He has already made up his mind to be more merciful later. Even if he wins, Tianlin will not really let him kneel down and kowtow. There is no way. He really can't afford to offend the Qibao Glazed sect. Then, let's fight outside and don't cause trouble to the merchants. Tianlin pointed outside and walked out first. Thank you, sir." The shop owner immediately expressed his gratitude to Tianlin. If these 2 soul masters fought here, his shop would be renovated tomorrow. "Brother Jun, the black turtle martial spirit should have extremely good defense, but its speed is not good. I suggest you not to collide with him head on. With the flexibility of your long sword, you should have a high chance of winning in a speed battle with him." Tangsun walked to Tianlin and suggested. Tianlin smiled slightly and said, "Thank you, Brother Tang, for your advice. However, I have my own fighting method, so you just have to watch it." Seeing Tianlin's confident look, Tangsun stopped talking. He also wanted to see where the limit of Tianlin's attack power was. Everyone walked outside, and Tianlin said, "Mr. Ziqiu, this mysterious turtle of yours must have defensive soul skills. I will only use one move. If you can catch it, I will give in immediately." "What did you say?" Ziqiu was angry. "Buddha also has fire. He is a defensive martial soul. To ask him to defeat him with one move when his defensive soul skills are activated is too disrespectful." "Okay, you are a genius from the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. Let me see how you can break my defense with one move." Black Turtle Body Protector, Yi. Ziqiu's turtle shell suddenly condensed like a thick layer of armor. He was very confident. Even a soul master of the same level as him would have a hard time defeating him in one move, let alone a young man like Tianlin. "Sister, boss, isn't he a little too confident? He is a Soul King. Not to mention using defensive soul skills. It is difficult to defeat him with just soul power." Mahanjan walked up to Ningrang. Beside Rong, someone said worriedly, "Don't worry, Brother Jan will never do anything you're not sure about. Just keep an eye on it." Ningrang Grang is more confident than Tianlin. She has seen that after Tianlin got the 4th soul ring, his attack power is enough to break through the defensive skills of some soul emperors in the sect. As for what Mahanjan said about using only soul power to resist, it was no different from seeking death. Sword Douluo Chengxing couldn't do it back then, and Poison Douluo had to use the 5th soul skill Snake Python Qiangang Shield to achieve complete defense. Then, get ready to accept the move. Tianlin no longer hid it at this time, and the true color of his soul ring began to appear: yellow, purple, black. This scene shocked everyone in Shrek. Although they had already learned the truth about the Tianlin soul ring from Tang San, this was indeed the first time they had seen such a configuration of the soul ring. Yizukyu's eyes widened in horror. The second ring of 1,000 years. The fourth ring of 10,000 years. You are the sword master of the Qibao glazed sect, Jun Tianlin. He kicked the iron plate. He really kicked the iron plate now. Behind the sword lord, there were 4 titled Douluo standing. They beat him, and the custody was torn into pieces. Don't worry, our battle has nothing to do with my master and others. You just need to accept my attack with all your strength. The 4th soul skill. After Tianlin finished speaking, he raised the magic sword, and the 4th soul ring shone. A huge shadow began to extend toward the sky on the body of the magic sword, which was more than 100 meters long. And, as the soul power was injected into it, the shadow gradually solidified, and at the same time, strong thunder emitted from the sword. Tianlin's 4th soul ring is not just 10,000 years old, but comes from a thundering lion, that is 15,000 years old. In order for Tianlin to absorb the soul ring more smoothly, Yin Yang took action at that time, to achieve the title fight. It took a Luo level thunder, and lightning attack of the same attribute, to completely subdue the lion. What? A terrifying aura. Brother Jun's 4th soul skill must have a terrifyingly powerful attack power. Tang San felt extremely dangerous. If the sword struck him, he would definitely die. Cut. Tianlin shouted loudly, and the sword edge fell straight down. Although the defense of Yizukyu's turtle shell was good, it barely lasted for a second, before it was broken by the magic sword. Just when Yizukyu was desperate, Tianlin slightly turned the edge of the sword sideways, and the power of the magic sword struck the ground. Suddenly, a bottomless ravine stretching for hundreds of meters appeared on the ground. Gilu. Yizukyu swallowed. He was almost scared to death. If Tianlin hadn't been merciful in the end, he would have died. How about it, Mr. Yizukyu? This is my 4th soul skill. Flowing light killing immortal slash. Do you want to continue fighting? Tianlin took back the magic sword, and said with a smile, no fighting. I admit defeat. I admit my mistake. This time we were too arrogant, and we will never do it again in the future. Yizukyu decisively kowtowed and apologized, and fled the tavern in despair with his students. Tianlin didn't intend to continue pursuing the case. After all, it was just a small conflict. There was no need to actually kill someone and silence him. The so-called if someone offends me, I will raid his entire family. It only shows that the sect is determined to avenge any vengeance. It is not really so vicious. Boss, you are too strong. Sure enough, I made the right decision to join the Qibao glazed sect. From now on, with the boss protecting me, let's see who dares to bully me. Mahanjan ran over and complimented. Don't just rely on others to protect you. Your own strength is the key. Hongjin, your talent is so powerful. You have to work hard to practice in the future. Otherwise, this trick of flowing light killing immortal slash may one day be used when you are lazy. Get down. Tianlin threatened the little fat man in a sinister manner. Mahanjan shed a cold sweat unconsciously. Although he knew Tianlin was just joking, seeing the long and deep ravine in front of him, and the terrifying attack power still made his skin crawl. Brother Jun's attack power is really amazing. Tang San admires him very much, because he thought Tianlin and he were from the same world. Tang San would always subconsciously speak in the tone of the martial arts world, which always made Xiao Wu feel weird of, "You're welcome, trivial skills don't count." Tianlin smiled and took Ning Rangrang back to the hotel. Passing by Daimyu Bay, he didn't dare to be arrogant at this time, because he knew that, even if he fully opened the White Tiger protective barrier and White Tiger Vajra transformation, he would not be able to block such an attack. In the dark, Xiao Wuji was also secretly surprised. In fact, he had already noticed the movements of the little monsters, but he just didn't want to take action. He wanted to see how far they could fight the Soul King first, but he didn't expect that the Soul King Lion Tianlin would. Can't even block the blow. This is a real monster. The little monsters are still far behind him. Zhao Wuji sighed. He hoped that Shrek Academy could participate in this continent-wide Advanced Soul Master Academy competition and stand out, but if he met Tianlin, he would have no chance of winning. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 Tianlin's Promise. Entering the Star Forest. After returning to the room, Tianlin waited until Ningrangrang entered deep meditation and everyone else was either meditating or falling asleep, and then quietly came to the grove outside the hotel. "Grandpa, Eagle, are you there?" Tianlin shouted towards the darkness. A figure stood on the treetops at some point. "I'm here, Xiaoshan. You are taking too many risks today. How can you show your soul ring here? You must know that the color of your soul ring is very easy to identify. If the people in Wuhan Palace know that you have left the Seven Treasures Glazed sect, they will never give up this great opportunity to assassinate you." Yin Yang couldn't help but lectured. "Don't worry, Grandpa Ing. After this trip to the Stardao Forest, I will return to the Sector Academy soon. Wuhan Palace has no chance to send Title Douluo here. If only Soul Saint and Soul Douluo come. Aren't you still here?" Tianlin said with a smile. "As long as you are sensible, then why did you suddenly call me out?" Yin Yang nodded and asked, "I want to ask Grandpa for a favor. Tomorrow, we will arrive at the Star Forest. Please go ahead and help me." Tianlin told Yin Yang his plan. Yin Yang nodded. What Tianlin asked him to do, it's not difficult. With his title Douluo's strength, he can complete it quickly. Point. Just as Yin Yang was about to leave, Tianlin suddenly stopped him again. "Wait a minute, Grandpa Ing. Have you seen Tang Heo during this time? How did you know that Tang Heo was here before?" Yin Yang was extremely surprised. "It seems that I have seen it." Tianlin did not answer him, but looking at his expression, he also guessed, "With your skills, you should be able to see the true identity of that little rabbit." Did Tang Heo agree? What conditions did you have to agree to not reveal the identity of the little rabbit? Hearing this, Yin Yang was even more surprised. Listening to Tianlin's tone, he seemed to have seen through the 100,000-year soul beast. He wanted to confirm, but when he thought of the oath he had sworn, he became hesitant again. Seeing Yin Yang's appearance, Tianlin felt something was wrong. It wasn't so much that Yin Yang didn't want to say it, but it was more like he didn't dare to say it. "Didn't he stop you after agreeing to some of your requests? Instead, he used force to force you to do so. Did you swear a poisonous oath?" Yin Yang nodded happily and sighed at Tianlin's cleverness. He didn't break his oath. It was all Tianlin's guess, so there was no problem. "Okay, Tang Heo, you are insulting me and no one in the Seven Treasures Glazed sect." Tianlin looked at Yin Yang with cold eyes and asked, "Grandpa Ing, I remember that you don't have a soul bone in your body now, right?" "No, soul bones are inherently rare. Although the sect master still has a few pieces and is willing to give them to me, there is nothing suitable for me," Yin Yang said lonely. "A titled Douluo who doesn't even have a soul bone. I'm afraid it's the shabbiest one." Tianlin smiled slightly and said seductively, "So, do you like the 100,000-year-old soul bone?" 100,000 years. Yin Yang exclaimed. "What do you like or dislike about this? 100,000-year soul bone is something that people can fight for desperately. Even if the attributes are not suitable, no one will care of. Okay, I know Tang Heo has one in his hand, and I promise that one day I will get it from him as a gift of apology from him." Tianlin promised Yin Yang, who was originally interested in that piece. There is no interest in a piece of blue silver emperor's leg bone, but now that Tang Heo has offended his grandpa Ing, he can't do it without paying a price. In the early morning of the next day, everyone gathered in front of the hotel. In addition to paying the room fee, Tianlin also gave the hotel owner an extra gold soul coin card. It was used for road construction. The ravine Tianlin cut last night could not be damaged. "Just leave it like that, sister. Boss, has he always been like this?" Mahanjan asked in surprise. The destructive power of soul masters is so powerful that every fight will inevitably change a large area beyond recognition. It is common for many ordinary people to be affected, but under normal circumstances, soul masters will not make any compensation. In their eyes, there is no ordinary people with soul power on a completely different level from me, and there is no need to treat them equally. Ning Rang Grang nodded. Brother Jian has always been like this. He often said that, although he is not a good person, he must have his own bottom line. He also made several life mottos for himself. What kind of motto is the motto of life? Tang San asked with great interest. He thought that maybe the sect rules of Tianlin's previous life were the same as his Zhuanshan Baolu. He has always regarded the teachings in Zhuanshan Baolu as his life motto. Actually, it's nothing special. Ning Rangrang smiled. First, you must repay any hatred and kindness. Second, you must not bully the weak. Third, you must admit your mistakes. Fourth, you must never blindly rely on others. The power of, is this the so-called motto of life? Tang San asked in confusion. He thought that the Shushan sect would have some kind of warning motto, but he didn't expect it to be so ordinary. Ning Rangrang said, you think it's very ordinary, right? I thought so at first, but my father said that Brother Jian's motto is very good. If you can stick to it for a lifetime, even ordinary people without soul power can achieve great results in other places. Maybe because I'm not mature enough and don't understand what Brother Jian and my father mean. Even the master of the 7 treasures glazed sect said this. It seems I'm still too immature. Tang San thought to himself. After all, he had never truly become a superior and had not enough experience to understand some profound truths from the ordinary. Okay, let's go. At this time, Tianlin came over after paying the bill. Mahanjan stepped forward and said, Boss, some of your maxims are so right. If I keep persisting, will I become as strong as you? Motto. Haha, it was Rangrang who told you that. Yes, if you can persist, I guarantee that you will be reborn one day. Tianlin smiled and did not deny it. However, you don't actually need it now. To understand this, it is enough to do 2 things. First, go out and get a blanket when the weather is nice. Second, walk 20,000 steps a day to ensure good health. Tianlin said 2 simpler things, but he didn't explain too much. People have to understand many things by themselves. If Mahanjan can figure it out on his own, then he may not become the Phoenix god in the future, but a real first level god, the god of fire. After leaving the town, everyone speeded up and finally arrived at the Star Forest shortly after the sun came up. After many years, Tianlin came to this big forest again. As the first of the 3 major wild soul beast gathering places. The Stardow Forest is naturally the place where soul masters most want to come, because coming here means that they can advance to a stronger stage. No one knows how many years this forest has existed on the mainland. Only the denseness that blocks out the sky and the sun tells people about its long history. Everyone, stop. When he came to the forest, Zhao Wuji suddenly turned around, looked at everyone seriously and said, you guys must understand clearly, the Stardow Forest is not a place where the state keeps soul beasts in captivity. The soul beasts here they are all extremely dangerous. You may face 1,000-year or even 10,000-year level soul beast attacks at any time. Therefore, after entering the forest, none of you should leave my side for more than 20 meters. Ning Rangrang, Oscar, you 2 are more. You have to follow me closely. No one is allowed to attack the soul beast easily without my order. Do you understand? No, teacher Zhao. Wuji then looked at Tianlin. Jianjun, although you are not my student, since you came here with me, I'm also responsible for your safety, and you should try your best to follow me. Do you understand? He was actually completely frightened by Yin Yang. If something happened to Tianlin here, the 4 titled Douluo from the 7 treasures, glazed sect would have to kill him. Teacher Zhao, you don't have to worry about me. I think I can protect myself without any problem. After all, our target is only a 1,000-year-old soul beast. I think it won't be so easy to encounter guys who are over 10,000 years old. Tianlin was confident. Zhao Wuji shook his head. If it were in the past, it would be okay for you to say this. However, just 12 years ago, there was a soul beast right here. although it stopped quickly. It is said that after that day, crossing Dao, the cultivation level of the soul beasts in the Great Forest has inexplicably increased a lot, so no one can be careless here now. 12 years ago. Was it the day when the meteorite fell across the sky? I heard Grandpa Giant say it. Ning Rangrang recalled. Grandpa Giant said that day, several extremely terrifying waves appeared in the Stardao forest. The breath, even if it is thousands of miles away, can reach the place where the Qibao glazed sect is. Even Grandpa Giant is extremely afraid of it. Later, Wuhan Palace and the 7 major sects sent experts to investigate, but the auras seemed to have disappeared, and they could no longer be detected. In the end, they had no choice but to return without success. Chapter 110 Phoenix Tail Coxcomb Snake Tianlin Arrangement. After listening to Zhao Wuji and Ning Rangrang's story, Tianlin was thoughtful. He knew that the day when the meteorite crossed the sky was his birthday. His father said that it was precisely because of this strange phenomenon that he was born. The child will be named Tianlin, which means a unicorn descending from the sky. As for those powerful auras that suddenly rioted at that time, Tianlin also had some guesses that the ferocious beasts were the real kings among the soul beasts in the entire Douluo Continent. Although 100,000-year-old soul beasts such as the Titan giant ape, the azure bull python, and the demonic great white shark are powerful, compared with them, they are probably not even a little bit inferior, but at this time, most of them should gather in the center of the Lake of Life and absorb the soul power of the Cheyenne Meng Ice Silkworm, which is close to a million-year level. It will not be until 10,000 years later that they will start to fight because of the Cheyenne Meng Ice Silkworm's escape. This world. Therefore, the Titan giant ape and the azure bull python can now proclaim themselves emperors in the Stardao forest. In fact, the territory they occupy is just the periphery of the Lake of Life, almost like a gatekeeper. What happened back then? Why did the aura of the ferocious beast suddenly appear? Tianlin touched his chin and guessed. At this moment, in a huge cave inside the Stardao forest, a sealed big flesh bug suddenly came to life. This aura is, he finally came to the Stardao forest again. Brother is saved, but it's a pity. Brother can't move now. So if that's the case, then brother must find a way to call him over. The big bug began to spread its spiritual power outwards, and the direction was exactly where Tianlin and his party were. While walking in the forest, the group of people would encounter a group of 10-year and century level spirit beasts from time to time. Damu Bei wanted to kill them, but was stopped by Tianlin. Although in Douluo Continent, it is natural for humans and soul beasts to kill each other, but apart from necessary training, it is better not to cause too much killing. No matter which side of humans and soul beasts is completely extinct, for this continent, neither is a good thing. Suddenly, there was a rustling sound in the jungle, and Tianlin and Zhao Wuji, who had higher cultivation levels, heard the sound of a living creature approaching almost at the same time. Tangsun was a step slower than them, but with the help of the insight of the Ziji demon eye, he also quickly discovering something strange in front of them. The three of them cast their gazes in one direction. Zhao Wuji shouted, "Get ready, something is approaching quickly." After everyone heard this, they immediately prepared for battle. Tianlin protected Ning Rangrang behind him. Although he guessed that the snake that came was probably the snake from the original work, he still couldn't be careless. Zhu Zuking, go and see what you are looking at. Zhao Wuji ordered in a deep voice. Zhu Zuking nodded silently, jumped up to a big tree nearby, and had a good view. With her cat-like vertical pupils, she looked towards the source of the sound. Soon, Zhu Zuking discovered something. This is a flying snake. It does not fly high above the ground, but it is extremely fast. A flying snake? Zuking, can you describe the appearance of the snake and its length? Tangsun had some guesses, but needed further confirmation. Zhu Zuking once again looked into the distance. This snake has a fleshy crown on its head, its wings are blood red, and its tail is fan-shaped. In terms of length, it is about 6 to 8 meters. This is a 1,000-year-old crested snake. Its age ranges from 13 to 1800 years. It's great. It's just right for us, Oscar, and especially for you. Tang Sen is worthy of being the direct disciple of the master. This master is not very good at other things, but his research on soul beasts is indeed good. After all, he was born into the blue electric Tyrannosaurus family, and he had a relationship with Bibidong, the former saint of Wuhan Palace. The so-called he relies on his father at home, and his sister outside, so his learning resources are indeed very rich. Tang San's judgment is indeed correct. The characteristic of the phoenix-tailed coxcomb is speed. Among the 3 level 30 quasi-soul masters present, Tang San needs a soul ring with tenacity and poison attributes, and the phoenix-tailed coxcomb is non-venomous, is not suitable for him. As for Ning Rangrong, she already has the second soul skill of acceleration, and there is no need to repeat it, so the most suitable one is Oscar. The phoenix-tailed coxcomb is not very aggressive, and is indeed suitable for food-based soul masters. In this case, let me help you, Oscar. I have a way to restrain the phoenix-tailed coxcomb in a short time. Tianlin smiled. Stepping forward, he wanted to give Oscar a favor. He has not given up his plan to let Oscar join the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. After all, he is expected to become the god of cookery. As for how to let him join, he has already had an idea. For the Qibao Glazed sect, Oscar is actually very helpful, because his strategic significance is very different from Ning Rangrong and Li Lingling. The support provided by Ning Rangrong and Li Lingling was suitable for team battles between dozens of high-level soul masters, while Oscar was more suitable for large-scale battles involving low-level soul masters. Once Oscar breaks through to the titled Douluo, his first few soul skills can produce enough rations to satisfy tens of thousands of troops in a very short period of time. Moreover, this ration can not only satisfy hunger, but also has the effects of restoring strength, treating injuries, detoxifying, and flying rapidly. It can be said that Oscar's strategic significance is no less than that of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Tower, but the 2 sides have different positioning. The future mainland war will not be limited to battles between high-level soul masters. Tianlin wants to make the Qibao Glazed sect invincible in every aspect. Well, thank you very much, Oscar said gratefully. After these days, he had basically let go of Ning Rangrong, but he was still a little hostile to Tianlin. Unexpectedly, Tianlin not only didn't care at all, but also took the initiative to help him hunt Soul Ring. Compared with him, her mind is indeed a bit narrow-minded. No wonder Ning Rangrong only has Tianlin in her heart. Brother Jun, what can you do? Although the phoenix-tailed coxcomb is not very powerful in combat, it is extremely fast, and its comb contains nutrients that allow it to continue flying. It is definitely one of the most difficult spirit beasts to capture. Tang San was a little worried about Tianlin being alone. His plan was for everyone to go together. As long as they followed his instructions, he had a 90% chance of successfully catching the crested snake. It's a pity that Tianlin doesn't want to obey his command at all. He wants to sell this favor to Oscar alone. Don't worry, brother Tang, just keep an eye on it. You saw my swordsmanship last time in the Great Soul Fighting Arena. Come on, now I just want to show you my other secret skill. After saying that, Tianlin took out several stones from the Ruai treasure bag. These were not ordinary stones, but formation stones. Tianlin had already introduced the soul power needed to set up the formation in advance. With these few stones can be used to lay out a simple formation in a small area. It is of no use to high-level soul masters, but at this time, it is more than enough to deal with a 1000-year-old crested snake. Chapter 111 Tianlin takes action. Xiangxuan's Maze and Shushan Talisman. As the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake quickly approached, it finally appeared in front of Tianlin and others. Tianlin stepped forward, arranged the 7 formation stones in his hand in special positions, and used his soul power to activate the formation that had already been set in the formation stones. The phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake didn't know the mystery of this formation, so it stupidly entered the formation. At this time, a strange scene occurred. The coxcomb's route became extremely weird. It was clear that there was a road in front of it, but it turned a corner, as if it had hit a dead end. It was clear that there was a huge rock in front of it, but it directly hit it. He went up, and knocked himself to pieces. What is going on? Oscar asked in surprise. Is this a formation? Zhao Wuji had some guesses, because among his colleagues, there was a control soul emperor Lu Qibin, and his Xingluo martial soul had formation type soul skills similar to this. However, Tianlin is obviously an attack type soul master. How come he knows such a method? Tianlin smiled slightly and said, although it was his first time to test it, this simple version of Xiangxuan's maze was barely successful. Unfortunately, the range was a little smaller, and could only trap a few people. The so-called Xiangxuan formation is a formation created by King Shi, one of the 7 saints of Shu Mountain. After his formation is unfolded, once someone enters rashly, they will fall into a strange illusion of death, and no life point. Tianlin's simplified version, which is weakened 100 times, certainly cannot reach this level, and can only trap others for a while. This is an illusion formation. The scene in the eyes of the phoenix-tailed crested snake should be very different from ours. However, even I can't see through it this time. Tangsun used the purple demon eye, but he still couldn't see through Xiangxuan's maze, but he still guessed it. Brother Jun, you are planning to let the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake destroy itself in your maze. What a good idea. Tianlin shook his head. Of course it's not that simple. Although it is possible to do this, it will be too time consuming. I have a backup plan. With that said, Tianlin took out 2 yellow talismans from his body and rushed to the coxcomb. Because he was trapped in the illusion, the coxcomb did not feel Tianlin's approach at all. Tianlin attached the 2 talismans to its body very easily. Forbidden spell talisman, seal, body binding talisman, fix. The forbidden spell talisman and the body binding talisman are respectively talismans that confine the soul power in the body and restrict body movement. These 2 are used together to have full effect. The most important reason why soul beasts are stronger than wild beasts is that they, like human soul masters, contain powerful soul power in their bodies. Therefore, as long as the soul is sealed with a forbidden spell talisman first, and then the body is restrained with the body binding talisman, the opponent will be at the mercy of others of Lamb. Brother Jun's sect actually has such a unique skill in terms of spells. Tangsun was horrified. In his previous life, there were indeed rumors of spells in the Taoist sect, but they were just legends. This was the first time he saw it with his own eyes. Wow, boss, is this also a unique skill of the Qibao Glazed sect? It's too awesome. With just 2 talismans, this phoenix-tailed crested snake is motionless. Mahanjan said excitedly. Boss, if I join the sect, can you teach me your unique skills? Of course you can, but if you want to learn it, you can't fish for 3 days and dry the nets for 2 days. The energy required for the spell method is no less than your soul master practice. Tianlin really didn't mind teaching it to him. After all, he was not a true disciple of Shushan, so he did not have as many sectarian opinions as Tangsun. However, when he heard that learning the talisman would take a lot of time, Mahanjan suddenly hesitated. Well, forget it. I'd better concentrate on cultivating my soul power. After I become a titled Douluo, I will have more time to study this talisman. Tianlin shook his head. Although Mahanjan is extremely talented now, his temperament is still too lazy. He still lacks the determination, confidence, and patience necessary to become a strong man. It seems that he will need to be trained in the future. Okay, Oscar, now this crested snake is at your disposal. Let's do it. Tianlin called Oscar over, and just when Oscar was about to give the coxcomb the final blow, a hoarse, old voice shouted, "Stop, immediately." Afterwards, 2 figures emerged from the woods, one old and one young. Both women. The old man looked to be in his 60s or 70s, with his white hair combed very neatly. Although he was not young, he was radiant and obviously had good cultivation. She held a 3-meter long snakehead crutch in her hand. As she walked towards the crowd step by step, her soul ring also began to rotate around her in circles. 2 yellow, 3 purple and 1 black. This person was in his 60s. The soul emperor. The soul ring was pulsing, but the body did not change at all, indicating that the old man's martial soul was the snake staff in her hand. Next to her is a young girl, about 16 years old, wearing a purple outfit that wraps her charming body. The girl is extremely beautiful, even compared to Zhao Wu, Ning Rangrong, and Zhu Zuking. Just a little bit worse. She also held a snake staff, but it was slightly shorter, about 2 meters, and she only had 2 yellow century-old soul rings on her body. Needless to say, their combination is exactly the same as Chao Xiangxiang, the snake woman in the original work, and her granddaughter Mengyiren, HMPH, 6 soul rings. Zhao Wuji smiled disdainfully and immediately possessed the martial soul, and 7 soul rings were displayed in front of the grandparents. When she saw the 7 soul rings on Zhao Wuji's body and the optimal configuration of 2 yellow, 2 purple and 3 black soul rings, the old woman's heart sank. She didn't expect that there would be a soul saint here. Her husband was not here. Under the circumstances, it would be very difficult to get the coxcomb snake back today. However, she still wants to try. Maybe the other party will give her some face. After all, the unparalleled dragon and snake are also a famous combination on this continent. Old woman Chao Xiangxiang. Hello, respected soul saint. You cannot give the coxcomb snake to that child. Chao Xiangxiang. When Zhao Wuji heard this name, his original disdain subdued, and he thought in his mind, she is actually the snake woman among the unparalleled dragon and snake. She is easy to deal with, but the unrivaled dragon and snake couple have always been Mengila's focus. Meng, if she is here, Duke Long Mengshu must be nearby too. Dragon. Duke Mengshu is an extremely powerful Soul Douluo, and he can use soul fusion techniques with Chao Xiangxiang, making him unstoppable to all titled Douluo. Once Mengshu appears, he will definitely not be a match for this couple. Thinking of this, Zhao Wuji said in a very rare polite manner, it turns out that it's senior snake Po who is in front of me. I'm Zhao Wuji. Chao Xiangxiang's expression moved slightly. I asked where such a young soul saint came from. It turns out to be Fu Domingdao, who is famous in the Soul Master field. Chao Xiangxiang complimented him, but he was getting more and more anxious in his heart. King Fu Doming did everything according to his own preferences. He even dared to offend the Wuhan Palace, so how could he really be afraid of the Dragon Snake family? Without Duke Long present, he was just afraid of this. The spirit ring of the phoenix-tailed crested snake is really going to fly. Chapter 112 The belonging of the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. Tianlin's big appetite. Don't dare take it, it's just a bad reputation. Zhao Wuji said with a fake smile. I have not been active in the Soul Master world for a long time. Now I'm living in seclusion and teaching in an academy. This time I came to the Stardao Forest just to hunt for the first prize for some of my students. There are 3 soul rings, and this 1000-year-old phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake happens to be suitable for one of them. Just as Chao Xiangxiang guessed, Zhao Wuji did not give her face and directly gave up the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake. Chao Xiangxiang frowned. You mean, you have several students who have reached level 30, but these kids, with her eyesight, she could naturally tell that among the children, Damu Bei, the oldest, was about the same age as her granddaughter Mengyiren, and the youngest was only 11 or 12 years old. But what people didn't expect was that several of them have actually exceeded level 30. Is this a stab in the genius nest? HMPH. So what if this crested snake is suitable for your students? We discovered it first and started hunting it. Return it to me quickly. Mengyiren was a little anxious. It was rare to see such a good spirit ring. The age and attributes fit her so well that there was no way she would give up. The importance of level 30 is self-evident. A suitable 3rd soul ring will have a great impact on future achievements. You said you started hunting this spirit beast first. What evidence is there? Oscar also attached great importance to the spirit ring and asked immediately. Haha, young man, don't be impatient. Look at the snake's belly. Are there a few wounds? They were injured by my crutch. If it hadn't been so good at escaping, it would have died at my hands long ago. Chao. Xiangxiang pointed at the snake's belly, and there were indeed several wounds there, all of which were fatal. This proves that what Chao Xiangxiang said is true, so it is reasonable for them to ask for this soul beast. Zhao Wuji looked at Tianlin, who was subduing the phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake, and suddenly his eyes lit up. Sister Chao, actually, this phoenix-tailed coxcomb snake, it's not me who uniformed him, but this kid from the Qibao Glazed sect. He is a friend of one of my students, and is not a student of my college. I can't order him, since this snake is the work of the 2 of you. For those who surrender, How about you decide on your own, Zhao? Wuji is very smart to divert trouble to the east. He cannot afford to offend you, the peerless dragon and snake, but can you, the peerless dragon and snake, offend the Qibao glazed sect? Sure enough, Snake Pio's expression changed when she heard the name of the Qibao glazed sect. That was a sect that was 100 times more powerful than her dragon snake clan. Tianlin smiled slightly. Zhao Wuji seemed rough and arrogant, but he was quite considerate. It was good to sell one more favor to Oscar. In addition, he had already had thoughts about the matchless dragon and snake couple. However, he dared to use his sect as a spearman. This should be remembered. Next time, talk to Grandpa Bones or Master and Zhao Wuji. Grandpa Eagle's heart is really not hard enough. This, young man, it turns out that you were born in the Qibao glazed sect. I haven't asked you your name yet. Chao Xiangxiang asked. My Lord, Jun Tianlin, I would like to pay a visit to senior snake woman, Jun Tianlin. Are you the direct disciple of Sword Douluo, Sword Lord? Chao Xiangxiang said in surprise. This group of people can't move now, even if his husband comes. A single heart is enough to turn their family into flying objects. Since it's the Sword Lord in person, let's forget about today's matter. Alas, Yiren, let's go. Chao Xiangxiang sighed, pulling Meng Yiren, and planning to leave. No, this is my soul ring, and I will never give up. Meng Yiren shook off his grandmother's hand willfully, stepped forward and said, even if you are from the Qibao glazed sect, you can't be unreasonable. Since both of us, everyone has contributed to the capture of this snake, so how about a fair fight according to the rules of the Soul Master world, and the winner gets the soul ring? No. Tianlin shook his head. Seeing this, Meng Yiren had tears in his eyes. You have gone too far to bully others. No matter how strong your sect is, I, Meng Yiren, will not accept it. If you use your power to bully others, Meng misunderstood. I refused because the conditions you proposed cannot be fulfilled at all. The person we want to hunt this soul beast is Oscar, and he is a food-based soul master, and his martial soul is a sausage. How can I deal with you? What about a fair fight? Tianlin explained. What, the food system? Chao Xiangxiang was shocked. The food system is the most difficult to cultivate among all categories, but this boy, who is slightly younger than his granddaughter, has actually reached level 30. Looking at the entire continent, I'm afraid that I can't find another food genius like him. Seeing Lizin's joy, she asked directly, young man, I wonder which sect you come from. Are you also the Seven Treasures glazed sect? I don't have a sect. Ardeen said that my sausage martial spirit mutated, which is why this happened. Oscar shook his head. There is no sect. Chao Xiangxiang was overjoyed when she heard this. Since she was not from the Qibao glazed sect, she immediately had the idea of poaching. Wouldn't it be perfect if such a talented food type soul master could help her granddaughter? Just when Chao Xiangxiang was about to issue an invitation, Tang San seemed to be ready to step forward and fight on Oscar's behalf. At this moment, Tianlin grabbed him with quick eyes and hands. Brother Tang, can't you tell that senior snake Pio is obsessed with Oscar? Well, don't make trouble at this time, otherwise it will ruin Oscar's future and marriage. Without Tang San causing trouble, Snake Woman finally said what the original novel had not finished. Young man, since you don't have a sect, after you graduate, do you want to consider coming to us? My granddaughter is still around, and she needs someone who can help her. Her people. If you agree, not only will we not snatch the crested snake today, but also all your soul rings from now on. My husband and I will keep it. Grandma, what are you talking about? Meng Yiren said dissatisfiedly. Her grandma was not recruiting people. She was simply giving her a blind date. I secretly glanced at Oscar. I hadn't noticed before. This guy was really handsome. Even compared to the sword master, he wasn't much worse. He was also such a genius. From a personal perspective, he was indeed worthy of her. Oscar was also made red-faced by Snake Woman's straightforward words. He had just lost his love. Could it be that God was compensating him by sending him such a beautiful girl today? Both of my parents are dead now. I grew up in the academy. Such a big thing still needs the dean to make the decision. Oscar stammered. Snake Woman smiled slightly when she heard this. Okay, if that's the case, then I'll go back and discuss it with your dean. You can absorb this soul ring. Asuka didn't refuse directly. In her opinion, he agreed. Her dragon snake family was not weak and her granddaughter was so beautiful. She really couldn't find any reason for the dean to refuse. Ning Ran glanced at Tianlin strangely. When she heard this, she knew that Tianlin had been thinking about Asuka. Today he actually watched him being recruited by a snake woman and being robbed of his favorite things without doing anything. It really didn't fit with his personality. As everyone knows, Tianlin not only has his eye on Asuka, he also has his eye on the unparalleled dragon and snake. As long as he takes the unrivaled dragon and snake under his command, then joining the dragon and snake family will not mean that Asuka joins the Qibao glazed sect. This is what is called children making choices. Adults want them all. Chapter 113. Tang San's 8 spider spears are gone. After hearing the snake woman's promise, Meng Yiren forgot to stop him because of his shyness. Asuka no longer hesitated, took out a dagger, and stabbed the crested snake to death. Then he sat cross-legged and began to absorb the soul ring. This time snake woman was not in a hurry to leave. She wanted to see what Asuka's martial spirit was like. The most direct way to observe the strength of a person's martial spirit was to see what kind of soul skills this martial spirit could produce. If it's a useless soul skill, so it's completely worthless. The coxcomb snake is not very aggressive, so the soul ring was absorbed extremely smoothly. In less than an hour, Asuka had already absorbed it. And his soul skill, just like the original work, is the flying mushroom sausage, which allows a user to fly at the speed of a coxcomb within 1 minute. Snake woman was surprised and delighted. The strategic significance of this soul skill was really great. If used on the battlefield, it would be extremely effective, whether it allowed the army to make a surprise attack or retreat. Even if it is an ordinary team fighting spirit, it can suddenly give the whole team the ability to fly, which can have miraculous effects on various tactical arrangements. This child is truly a food genius that is rare to see in a century. She must bring him over to help her family. Because Tang San didn't take action, the spirit beast wasn't snatched away, but Snake Woman took the initiative to give it up after taking a liking to Asuka, so there was no ill feeling between the two parties this time. Meng Yiren also admitted that Asuka's auxiliary ability would be of great help to her in future battles and training. Coupled with Asuka's extremely handsome face, she was indeed a little moved. Douluo doesn't care about faces. This sentence is actually only half correct. Women with ordinary talents are naturally like this, but Meng Yiren is a rich lady with good looks, talent, and family. A girl like her naturally has higher requirements. In the original work, Tang San had an ordinary appearance before the Blue Silver Emperor awakened, so he needed to show enough strength to attract her. But with Asuka's face, this step could be skipped completely. Okay, young man, congratulations on getting such a good soul ring. I still need to take Yi to find other soul beasts, so I'll leave first. After that, I will find an opportunity to go to your Shrek Academy with my old man to discuss you. Regarding the matter, I'll say goodbye. The snake woman said goodbye to everyone and left with her granddaughter. Senior, please walk slowly. Asuka was extremely grateful to the snake lady who was willing to give up her soul ring and took the initiative to see them off for a while before returning. Having solved the problem of Asuka's soul ring, now they still need to find one suitable for Ning Rang and Tang San. For these two people, there was no need to worry because Tianlin had already made arrangements. They didn't go long before they met a dying Tianlin tiger whose age was about 1,600 years old. The Tianlin tiger is a very special tiger-like soul beast. It does not have as powerful offensive and defensive capabilities as regular tiger-like soul beasts, but its characteristic is that its soul power is very abundant, far exceeding other soul beasts of the same age. Therefore, after hunting it, Ning Rang is likely to obtain the skill to increase soul power, which is exactly what she wants. Zhao Wuji had to sigh. Ning Rang was really the granddaughter of God. He was so lucky. Whenever he walked, he could meet soul beasts with the right attributes regardless of their age, or they were in a dying state. It was simply a gift. The soul ring that comes to your door. This is of course not luck, but Tianlin asked Yunyang to catch it in advance. In fact, Tang San's was also prepared, but it was very ordinary, and it couldn't be taken out now, otherwise they would have to leave the Stardao forest immediately. Tianlin also there is a plan that needs to be done here. It was getting late at this time, so everyone camped and rested directly at the place where Ningrangrong absorbed the soul ring. Tianlin sat next to Rangrong, guarding her every step of the way. The others were either meditating or resting, and only Zhao Wuji was keeping vigil. This night passed quite peacefully. That's right, the plot has changed here. The Titan, the king of the forest, has not appeared. It is still waiting obediently in the lake of life. This was all because of the breath condensing pill Tianlin gave to Zhao Wu, which restrained all her breath. The Titan giant ape didn't sense Zhao Wu, so how could it leave the lake of life inexplicably? Ningrangrong's soul ring was absorbed after more than an hour, and she obtained the third soul skill that increased her soul power. Tianlin felt sorry for her, that she had consumed a lot of mental power, so he would not let her continue to meditate tonight, and held her in his arms. After coaxing him to sleep, he waited for news about Yin Yang. Time gradually entered the second half of the night, and the shift guard changed to Damu Bay. Suddenly, a mysterious voice came into Tianlin's ears. Xiaoshan, Meng Yiren has begun to absorb the soul ring of the man-faced demon spider. Come here quickly. Tianlin opened his eyes and showed a smile. The process was exactly as he thought. Without the appearance of the Titan ape, Tang San would not have desperately chased Zhao Wu deep into the forest because of being caught, and then met the man-faced demon spider being chased by Duke Long, and then killed it, and stole Meng Yiren's soul ring. A mere 1,000-year-old spirit beast was being chased by Sword Douluo, with no possibility of escaping. Death was inevitable sooner or later. Without Tang San causing trouble, this spirit beast would be her. Tianlin glanced pitifully at Tang San, who was meditating, and said to himself, I'm sorry Tang San, your 8 spider spear is gone. Having read the original work, he certainly knew the importance of the 8 spider spears to Tang San. This attached soul bone not only greatly increased Tang San's attributes in all aspects, but also allowed Tang San to adapt to various battle terrains, possessing powerful attack power. Terrible poison. The most important thing is that these 8 spider spears are also the medium that connects the other soul bones in Tang San's body, allowing the soul bone armor that can only be produced by the same soul beast to be realized on Tang San, which greatly increases his strength and even grows in the later period as an artifact. Since such a powerful external soul bone does not belong to Tianlin, it is best not to appear. Tianlin slowly put Ningrangrong down and said softly, have a good rest, Rangrong. Brother Jian will be back soon. After saying that, Tianlin walked out of the tent and disappeared in a flash. With Damu Bei's little strength, he couldn't even notice Tianlin's departure. Tianlin quickly found Yin Yang, who had been waiting for a long time, and said, Grandpa Ying, please take me to Mr. Long and Snake. Okay, I'm going to speed up. I'm afraid the little girl won't be able to hold on for long. Yin Yang picked up Tianlin, used the speed of a title Douluo of the agility attack system, transformed into a bolt of lightning, and rushed quickly in one direction. In the woods, the Dragon King and the Snake Woman were so anxious that they almost jumped. They finally captured the man-faced demon spider. Who would have thought that this was actually a spirit beast that was more than 2,000 years old. Meng Yiren was just an ordinary girl. She had not been refining her body with the elixir, so she could not withstand such a super life soul ring. At this time, her expression was extremely ferocious, and she was in severe pain all over her body. It was obvious that she was about to explode and die. Yiren, you must hold on. It's all Grandpa's fault for not discovering the true cultivation level of this man-faced demon spider. Duke Long blamed himself extremely. He was a powerful soul Douluo, but he didn't even know the age of the soul beast. This time he has harmed his granddaughter. In fact, this can't be completely blamed on him. Except for boring people like the master, who would record the age of a soul beast to single digits. They only record a rough range. Sometimes there is an error of about 100 years, which is unavoidable. Of Chapter 114 Tianlin's plan to trick Tang San and collect Long Gong. When Tianlin and Yin Yang approached, they did not hide themselves, but walked over openly. With the ear power of Duke Long Soul Douluo, they had already heard the footsteps. The dragon staff pointed toward the depths of the dark forest and shouted, whoever is sneaking around, come out. I'm Tianlin. I'd like to pay my respects to Senior Dragon Snake. Tianlin walked out of the darkness and paid homage to the two of them. It's you, the sword master of the Qibao Glazed sect. Snake Pio had just met Tianlin today and recognized him immediately. The difference was that there was a man next to him that he had not seen during the day. The couple recognized this person as Thunder Eagle Douluo Yin Yang, the third elder of the Qibao Glazed sect. Yin Yang greeted them and said, "The world's most virtuous couple, you two haven't seen each other for a long time. How are you doing these days?" It turns out that His Majesty the Thunder Eagle Crown, Duke Long, is polite. Duke Long paid a visit to Yin Yang. Facing the title Douluo, his status as a Soul Douluo was nothing. "His Majesty the Thunder Eagle Crown, it is rare to meet me. I should have a good talk with you, but unfortunately my granddaughter is in critical condition at this time, so please forgive me for not being able to leave." It's Miss Meng absorbing the soul ring. Tianlin pretended to step forward to inspect the body of the man-faced demon spider, then suddenly turned around anxiously and said, "Grandpa Eagle, no, look at this man-faced demon spider. The length of its spider legs is over 2 meters. This is a man-faced demon spider that is about 2000 years old. Really? Oops, Brother Meng, why are you so careless? How can the third soul ring absorb such a long-term soul ring? My granddaughter is not a soul master of beast martial arts. Her body strength may be difficult to bear." Yin Yang started singing along with Tianlin and started to blame loudly. "Grandpa, it still hurts so much, and I still really can't hold on anymore." At this time, Meng Yiren's painful voice came. She was on the verge of reaching her limit. At this moment, she could only ask for help from her grandfather, who she respected the most and gave her the most sense of security. But in this situation, even Duke Long was helpless and Granny Snake was full of tears. Meng was still her only granddaughter. Her and Duke Long's son died early, and all her love was given to this granddaughter. If Meng Yiren died here today, no matter how strong she and Duke Long were, it would be of no use. There was no point in living anymore. "Yiren, Grandpa is sorry for you. Grandpa can't save you today. In this case, Grandpa will continue to protect you when you go underground." As he said that, Duke Long actually raised his dragon staff and hit himself on the head. Does he want to take the first step and clear the way for his granddaughter to go to the underworld in advance? As a grandfather, if you do this, you can feel his love for his granddaughter. "Brother Meng, what are you doing? My niece is not dead yet. I have a way to save her. If you take the first step, who will protect her in the future? What about the snake woman?" Yin Yang quickly resisted Duke Long's attack. Dragon Staff comforted him. "What, Your Majesty, do you have any idea?" Hearing this, Duke Long's eyes lit up with hope. If he could live, who would want to die? There is a way, but Yin Yang hesitated. This made Mr. Long anxious. "But what? Tell me quickly. As long as I can save my granddaughter, I will do anything you want. I'm an 88th level contract after all, although I can't compare with him. The 4-titled Douluo of Shangyi sect can do something after all. This is not a matter of doing something. This matter involves the biggest secret of our sect. The sect leader has issued a strict order. No one can tell it, except the 4 protectors of our sect." Yin Yang was confused. "Human lives matter. Your Majesty, the rule is that the dead are alive. At worst, I will bring my family to become a subsidiary family of your Qibao Glazed sect. Chiang Xiang and I's martial soul fusion skills are powerful enough to rival ordinary titled Douluo. As long as you can save my granddaughter, I will sell you the Qibao Glazed sect for the rest of my life." So what? As the patriarch of the dragon snake family, how could Duke Long not see that Yin Yang was trying to hit the snake with a stick? He first deliberately said that he could save him, but then he had to keep it a secret due to the sect's rules. The purpose was probably for Duke Long himself. But this is a naked conspiracy, so what if Duke Long can see it? At this moment, he doesn't care about anything and just wants to save his granddaughter. Hearing this, Yin Yang felt happy that their plan had come true, but his expression was still extremely tangled, and finally he reluctantly said, "Okay, Brother Meng, I hope that we will get to know each other, and I will do this for you today. Make an exception, Ocean. Since Brother Long agreed to join our sect, you should hurry up and save people." Following Yin Yang's call, the Dragon King and the Snake Woman all looked at Tianlin. Only then did they realize that it was not Yin Yang who could save people, but the Sword Lord. Yes, Elder. As if receiving an order, Tianlin walked to Meng Yiren and sat down next to him. The second spirit orb appeared, and the holy breath barrier opened. Meng Yiren received the treatment from the barrier, and his expression visibly relaxed. This is the twin martial souls. Duke Long and Snake Woman were shocked. No wonder Yin Yang kept it secret like this. This matter cannot be leaked easily, otherwise it will inevitably cause other sects to be jealous and even pursue them. What's even more frightening is that Tianlin, the second martial soul, can actually interfere with the absorption of other people's soul rings. This has already broken the rules of Douluo Continent. Well, after I go back this time, I'm afraid I will inevitably be punished by the sect leader. Yin Yang sighed heavily. Looking very helpless, Duke Long hurriedly said, I have nothing to repay for your majesty's great kindness. After the still soul ring is absorbed, I'm willing to go with your majesty to the Qibao Glazed sect to explain the matter to sect mastering, and to join the noble sect. I will never regret my promise. Hearing this, Yin Yang said happily, that would be great. Although I leaked the secrets of the sect, I brought back a contract. In this way, I don't think the sect master will punish me too much. At most, I will be imprisoned for a period of time. That's all. Tianlin on the side looked at Yin Yang with some admiration. He really came from the same village as him. His acting skills were as good as those of many stars in his previous life. Duke Long has great potential, similar to Yin Yang back then. Tianlin is confident that with the help of his medicine hall, he will be able to become another title Douluo in the sect within 5 to 7 years, and Snake Po, although there is no hope of being banned, there is absolutely no problem in breaking through to Soul Saint. Now the martial soul fusion skills of the two of them are enough to rival ordinary title Douluo. Once the Dragon Lord is titled, and the Snake Woman obtains the martial spirit true body, then the Dragon Snake combination attack used by then will not be as strong as level 95. There is no way to compete. For this reason, Tianlin started planning from the moment he arrived at Shrek Academy. He not only deceived Tang San, but also gained such huge combat power for the sect. In addition, if Oscar can join the Dragon Snake family, then the future god of cookery will still be there from the Qibao Glazed sect. Half an hour later, with the help of Tianlin's holy breath barrier, Meng Yiren finally succeeded in harvesting this 2,000-year-old spirit ring. However, she did not get the 8 spider spears with attached spirit bones like Tang San. After all, she did not have that. The protagonist's luck. Meng, who was successfully promoted, was still not happy. Instead, she threw herself into her grandfather's arms and burst into tears. She was really frightened today. She was almost about to say goodbye to this world. Chapter 115 Unparalleled Dragon and Snake Enter the sect. A gift for Tang San. Yiren is good. It's because of Grandpa's fault that he almost killed you. Duke Long stroked Meng Yiren's hair and comforted him. Come, thank your two saviors, Mr. Thunder Eagle and Mr. Sword Lord. Your Majesty, Meng Yiren exclaimed. This title is exclusive to title Douluo. Even his grandfather can only be called Sir at most. The middle-aged man in front of him who seems to be unattractive is actually a title Douluo. Although she was usually a little willful, relying on her grandfather's favor, she did not dare to be presumptuous when facing a title Douluo. She immediately bowed obediently and said, "Thank you, your majesty and sword master, for saving your life." Well, you don't have to be polite, good niece. You succeeded in skipping a level and absorbing the soul ring today. You will definitely have good achievements in the future. If you join our sect in the future, you may be vigorously trained. Yin Yang said with a smile. Hearing this, Meng Yiren looked at her grandfather strangely. She had just absorbed the soul ring with all her strength and had no idea what they said. Duke Long explained, "Yiren, in order to thank these two for saving your life, I have decided to lead the Dragon Snake family to join the Qibao Glazed sect and become one of the affiliated families of the Qibao Glazed sect. From now on, you and this sword master are fellow disciples, so you should get along well." Duke Long had aroused Tianlin's thoughts. He had no intention of going back on his word, but since he had joined the sect, he naturally had to work hard to gain a position in the sect for his family. As Sword Douluo's only direct disciple, Tianlin, and has extraordinary talents and twin martial souls, and his future is limitless. Regardless of his status or strength, he is a good match for his granddaughter. Regarding Mr. Long's behavior of messing up the Mandarin duck genealogy, Tianlin smiled lightly and said, "That's natural. Sister Meng is a few years older than me. It's natural to call me brother. I think my Rangrang family will also welcome this very much. A beautiful sister." After listening to Tianlin's polite refusal, Mr. Long felt a little embarrassed. It turned out that Jianjun already had a lover in his heart. What he said just now was indeed too rash. Before he could feel disappointed, Snake Woman whispered in his ear. What? Made his eyes light up immediately. Point unexpectedly. In addition to Tianlin, he would still meet such an outstanding food type soul master. If he could bring that food type soul master with the qualifications of a titled Douluo into his family, their status in the Seven Treasures Glazed sect would be great. It's still not bad. After all, there has never been a titled Douluo in the food department on the mainland. No one dares to imagine how much significance a food-related titled Douluo would have to the war. The sky was getting brighter. Because he was afraid that Rangrang and the others would be worried, Tianlin returned to the camp with Yin Yang and Longgong. As expected, several other people were looking for him everywhere in an extremely anxious manner. Seeing Tianlin's arrival, Ning Rangrang happily threw herself into Tianlin's arms. "Brother Jian, where have you been? I'm worried to death." Duke Long finally met Ning Rangrang. She was indeed a bit more beautiful than his granddaughter. No wonder she could capture the heart of someone like Jianjun Rangrang. "Why do you only have eyes for your brother Jian, and not even look at Grandpa Ring?" Yin Yang was a little jealous, but he also regarded Ning Rangrang as his granddaughter. "Grandpa Ring, why are you here?" Ning Rangrang only noticed Yin Yang's presence at this moment. "I've always been here and never been far away. Otherwise, do you think that, if you sneaked out of the Seven Treasures Glazed sect alone without my secret protection, your father and your swordbone grandfather would be able to rest assured?" Yin Yang said angrily. "It's Rangrang's fault for making my father and grandfathers worry. From now on, I will be a good boy and will always listen to your words." Ning Rangrang cutely coquettished towards Yin Yang. Seeing her like this, Yin Yang breaking through his defense in an instant. He really couldn't get angry at Ning Rangrang at all. "See, Your Majesty, the Thunder Eagle crown." Zhao Wuji brought the others forward to greet them. Yin Yang had no interest in them and just gave a faint hum. "Sorry, Rangrang, I went to do some things last night." After saying Kian, Tianlin pulled Ning Rangrang over and introduced her. "Rangrang, you already know Senior Snake Po, and this is the famous Senior Longgong in the mainland, an 88th level Soul Douluo, and he agreed to join our Seven Treasures Glazed sect yesterday." "Really?" Ning Rangrang was stunned for a moment. Her brother Jian had just gone out for the whole night, and he actually brought such a powerful fighting force to the sect. "It's true, young sect master. I will be a member of your sect from now on." Longgong confirmed. He accepted it very quickly and was very wise. He has already called him young sect master Rangrang. "Senior, you are very welcome. I welcome you to join our sect. Rangrang will still need more care from you in the future." Ning Rangrang lightly lifted her skirt and performed an aristocratic salute. Under the guidance of Ning Fengxi and Tianlin over the years, she has become somewhat mature. A bit like a young sect leader. Zhao Wuji and others looked at this scene and were secretly surprised. The strength of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect had become stronger again. The combination of the Dragon Duke and the Snake Lady was enough to fight against the average titled Douluo. With the addition of the other four, the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile sect, it can be said that it already has the combat power of 5 title levels. With such combat power, even the Wuhan Palace would have to take it seriously. At this time, several people had different ideas. If Zhao Wuji was surprised, then Dame Yubei and Zhu Zuking were completely afraid. After all, they were members of the Xingluo royal family, and the Qibao Glazed sect that supported the Xiandao Empire could even be considered their enemy. But then I thought about it. I still don't know if they can survive from their own people. Even if they are worried, it is Davis and Zhu Zuan's turn. Compared to them, Mahangjin was completely surprised. As expected, he joined a large sect and became stronger and stronger. From now on, he would travel across the mainland in the name of a sect disciple without going sideways. In the end, Tanks and Zhao Wu had no idea, because it was none of their business. Xiao Wu was a spirit beast and had nothing to say. Tang San didn't know his identity as the successor of Haoshan yet, and the Tang sect hadn't been established yet. Qibao, no matter how strong the Liuli sect is, it has nothing to do with him. But at this time, Tianlin looked at Tang San and said, "By the way, brother Tang, I have prepared a gift for you. When I come back, come and take a look." "A gift?" Tang San walked over curiously, clasped his fists and said, "Brother Jun, the Zuanshan pill you gave me last time helped me a lot. How can I have the nerve to continue accepting your gift? It's nothing. This thing is of no use to me, but it is very suitable for you now." After saying that, Tianlin took out a plant from the soul guide, which seemed to be still shaking. This was actually a plant like soul beast covered with poisonous stings, which Yin Yang had prepared a few days ago. In order to ensure that Tang San couldn't get the 8 spider spears, Tianlin had warned him not to look for spider-type soul beasts, so Yin Yang found this poisonous thorn plant, which was only about 1100 to 1200 years old, which made Tianlin very satisfied. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, Leaving the Team. Mysterious voice. This kind of poisonous thorn should be a purple striped thorn. The purple lines are a symbol of the formation of its poison. Judging from the length, it should be about 1150 years old. It suits me very well. Thank you, brother Tang. Sin was rich in knowledge and recognized this plant soul beast immediately. He didn't want to be picky. After all, there were very few thousand-year soul beasts that were so consistent with his attributes in all aspects. Since the gift is a spirit beast, then Tang San, just accept it. Xiao Wuji said, "This kind of thing is useless to Tianlin, so there is no harm in accepting it." Tang San nodded, and after thanking Tianlin again, he immediately killed the purple striped thorn and began to absorb its spirit ring. The spirit ring, which was only less than 1200 years old, was too easy for Tang San. In less than half an hour, Tang San had absorbed it and officially became a soul master. Tianlin kept watching him until he was sure that he had not obtained any external soul bones like in the original work, and then he felt relieved. However, the soul skill he obtained is not bad at all. It is called blue-silver strangulation, which is similar to entanglement. The difference is that this move is more offensive and is not just a restraint skill like entanglement. When this move is used, many sharp thorns will grow on the blue-silver grass, which are highly poisonous and can be fatal. Tang San was quite satisfied with this move. At this time, Tianlin stepped forward and patted his shoulder and said, "Brother Tang, I believe that you will become an extremely powerful titled Douluo in the future." Tang San was stunned. He didn't know why Tianlin suddenly praised him, but he still said politely, "Thank you for the compliment, brother Jun." He didn't notice that when Tianlin said this, there were not many blessings in his eyes, but more pity. But in this Douluo continent, no one would think that Tianlin could become a titled Douluo. It was pity for Tang San. The premise is that they don't know Tang San's original achievements, a dual-level god-level powerhouse, and titled Douluo is like an ant compared to him. But now, the key to him being able to achieve the dual gods, the 2 eyes of ice and fire and the 8 spider spears have been destroyed by Tianlin. Now, if he can inherit a god in the future, it will be regarded as a blessing to his ancestors. Brother Tang, I'm sorry. Although I don't regard you as my enemy, a continent does not need 2 protagonists. We have no enmity or enmity. You are not an evil soul master, so I will not kill you, but in the future it's better to stay at the promising level of titled Douluo. You can't control the 2 gods. Tianlin thought to himself. At this point, Oscar, Tang San, and Ning Rangrang have all successfully obtained their soul rings. At this time, there is no other meaning for everyone to stay in the Star Forest, so they prepare to leave. At this moment, a voice sounded in Tianlin's mind. "Hey, kid, don't leave. Come and save me. I have something good for you." Tianlin stopped subconsciously, feeling horrified that what he just did was not a method of transmitting sound into the secret. This sound was actually transmitted directly into his soul point. He immediately checked his spiritual sea and found that not only was it intact, but it was even close to the outside world. Even a titled Douluo who was good at spiritual attacks could not directly talk to his soul under such circumstances. If the other party has ill intentions towards him, using this method, his soul can be wiped out in an instant. Tianlin subconsciously looked around, but there was nothing nearby except various plants. Kid, don't look around. Brother is not here. You should first find a way to get rid of the people around you. Brother will guide you to find him. The voice sounded again. It sounded like a boy, but he was very in need of a beating. Tianlin always felt that he had seen it somewhere. Why did I think of seeing it instead of hearing it? Tianlin discovered the blind spot in his own thoughts. Brother Jian, what's wrong with you? Why don't you leave? Ning Rangrang noticed Tianlin's abnormality and asked, It's nothing, Rangrang. Since you have obtained the soul ring, Brother Jian is leaving too. Tianlin decided to believe his own guess. What he had to do now was to leave the team. Boss, you're leaving. Why? Wouldn't it be nice to be with everyone? Mahanjan asked anxiously. After all, I'm not from Shrek Academy. How could I stay with you all this time? Tianlin explained. I will come this time, but I'm just worried about Rangrang. Now that I see her doing so well, I can feel at ease. Let's leave. Let's separate here. Okay, Brother Jian. I will return to the Qibao Glazed sect after the holidays. You have to wait for me. Ning Rangrang said reluctantly, while holding Tianlin's arm. Tianlin nodded. Okay, now that you have been promoted to Soul Lord, it is almost time to take that thing. Remember to bring Hanjin back with you next time. Ning Rangrang understood what Tianlin meant. They could take Xian Budan and Coxcomb Phoenix Sunflower. Since he agreed to Mahanjan, Tianlin would not go back on his word. Ocean, let's separate after we get out of the big forest. I will escort you all the way. Yin Yang said. No, this place is already on the outskirts. There are basically no soul beasts that are tens of thousands of years old. Ordinary soul beasts with 10,000 years of cultivation are no match for me. Grandpa Eagle, just don't worry. Tianlin rejected Yin Yang's kindness. It was more important for him to continue to protect Rangrang. Brother Jian, let's say goodbye and take care. Tangsun didn't know that Tianlin had tricked him. Instead, he thought that Tianlin had been helping him all the way and was full of gratitude to him. Okay, we'll meet later, Brother Tang. By the way, if you see other members of the Royal Dao team later, help me tell them that I have something to do and I'm going back to the Xiandao Royal Academy first. After Tianlin warned him, he turned and walked in the other direction, because soon, Kinming planned to bring Huang Dao and others here to practice. He left on his own and had to give them an explanation. An hour later, Tianlin guessed that the others were about to leave the forest, and then he sent a message from his soul. Hey, are you still there? I have left the group. Tell me your location. Yes, yes. I have been waiting for you for many years. Why are you not here? You walk towards the depths of the forest. I have already covered you with a spiritual shield. Your breath will not escape. As long as you are careful, don't walk directly in front of the soul beast. You don't have to worry about being discovered by the soul beast. I'm very powerful, right? When you see me, don't worship me too much. The voice rang again, a young man's voice, claiming to be brother, so cheap and so narcissistic. Tianlin became more and more sure that it must be that thing. However, although it spoke arrogantly, it was really capable. After walking into the depths of the forest, Tianlin discovered that, as long as he did not stupidly walk in front of the soul beasts, they would not notice him, even if he walked past them. Following the guidance of the voice, Tianlin walked to a cave emitting golden light. Chapter 117 Xian Meng Ice Silkworm Spirit Pearl Divine Sword. It's such a huge cave entrance. It seems like a giant creature lives here, but is it really strange? Tianlin sighed at the hugeness of the cave, but he soon discovered that it was too peaceful here. Ever since I came to the depths of the Stardao forest, I could see 10,000-year soul beasts everywhere along the way. Until I came here, I couldn't see any of them. Kids, don't stand in a daze at the entrance of the cave. Coming quickly. The voice urged anxiously. Tianlin stepped into the cave, and he was even more surprised inside. It was actually a golden cave, covered with gold. No wonder there was golden light shining at the entrance of the cave point. When he arrived in the cave, Tianlin finally saw the thing that transmitted the message to him. A big snow white insect with 9 golden lines on its body. It looked noble and gorgeous, but now it seemed to be sealed in a transparent yellow crystal within. Golden. Patterned ice silkworm. It is indeed you, Tianlin. Knew that this big meat bug's real name should actually be Cheyenne Meng Ice Silkworm, but that was the name it gave itself after it broke through a million years. Now it is called Golden Pattern Ice Silkworm. You kid actually knows me. Could it be that I'm not only famous in the soul beast world, but also among you humans? Now I'm finished. The golden patterned ice silkworm suddenly started wailing. It is the closest to Beidou, or 1,000-year-old soul beast. Once humans learn of its existence, they will definitely come to hunt it at all costs, and it would be worse than falling into the hands of other soul beasts. In the hands of soul beasts, it would at least have a way to survive, but it would just be used as a power bank and a training cheating device. Stop howling. Don't worry, no other human should know about you except me. Tianlin interrupted its wailing. After all, among the 2 time travelers on this continent, he is the only one who has seen Pillars. No wonder he thought of seeing it, rather than hearing it, after listening to the tone of Cheyenne Meng Ice Worm before, because he hadn't really listened to it, just described it in words. Huh, that's good. I'm scared to death. But since you recognize me, I can be more sure that you must have been my savior. Although I don't know why you transformed from beads and swords into a human being. But good people will fight to the end and save my brother one more time. The golden patterned ice silkworm said pitifully. Tianlin heard several key pieces of information from its words: beads, swords, and rescue. Could it be that his own martial soul had saved its life? Ah, these are sword and beads you mentioned? Tianlin raised his left and right hands, and the magic sword and the holy spirit beads appeared one after another. Yes, that's them. It turned out that they became your martial soul. Unfortunately, now only 1 sword and 1 bead are left. If the others were not taken away, you will definitely become the strongest existence in history. After all, I have lived for hundreds of thousands of years, but I have never seen such a powerful artifact. The golden patterned ice silkworm sighed. Hearing this, Tianlin touched his chin and guessed, what are you talking about? It seems that something happened 12 years ago that I don't know about. It was rumored that there was a meteorite that crossed the sky and fell into the stars 12 years ago. Deep in the forest, the place where you fell at that time should be the Lake of Life, right? Yes, it is the Lake of Life. I was in a miserable state at that time. Those ferocious beasts used me as a tonic every day, constantly absorbing my original soul power to practice. It was almost like hearing the sadness and making people shed tears. But when I was in despair, suddenly, 2 rays of light from the sky fell into the center of the Lake of Life. The powerful force instantly broke the space and injured all the ferocious beasts. I took advantage of that moment and relied on my strong mental power to drive away the ferocious beasts. Biji, who was not good at fighting, escaped from its direction. The golden patterned ice silkworm recalled, by the way, and it's not a meteorite, but 2 rays of light, 1 black and 1 white, that are constantly colliding. After falling into the Lake of Life, the black light disappears, and the white light is revealed, which is the 2 swords and the 6 stars bead. What? 2 swords and 6 beads? Let me ask you, what do the other beads and that sword look like? Tianlin asked excitedly. He had a guess that the people who came to Douluo Continent with him were more than just magic swords and holy spirit beads. I remember that the other 5 beads contained the 5 attributes of earth, water, fire, wind, and thunder respectively. Such powerful orbs naturally caused competition among soul beasts with the same attributes. For example, the Red King wanted to grab those 5 beads. A fire attributed bead is already fighting other ferocious beasts. It's the 5 spirit pearls. Where's the sword? What does it look like? Green. Hilt, silver blade. The golden patterned ice silkworm said it all. Speaking of that sword, it is the one I should be most grateful for. Among the ferocious beasts, there is one called the demon spirit, and its attributes are darkness doesn't match those beads. So it didn't care about the beads at all, and chose to take me back. But Just as it was chasing me, its breath triggered the divine sword. The divine sword just spread its divine power and suppressed it until it could not move. It was a pity that the divine sword had no owner at the time, otherwise it would have killed the demon spirit. It must be easy for that bastard. There was a deep sense of pity in the tone of the golden patterned ice silkworm, but Tianlin was extremely excited. The Zaoden divine sword, also known as the demon suppressing sword, is unmistakable. This sword has absolute restraint against evil spirits. It's great. Well, do you know where the other beads and swords are now? I only know that they must have fallen into the hands of those ferocious beasts. I don't know whose hands they are exactly. At that time, in order to seize the treasure, the ferocious beasts killed each other. The angry Emperor Shan sent out a tyrannical attack. The 2 swords and beads were scattered. One sword with 5 beads was taken away by a ferocious beast, and the other sword with 1 bead flew to someone unknown. It turned out that had turned into your martial soul with your birth. What happened 12 years ago was narrated by the golden pattern ice silkworm. After hearing this, Tianlin knew that he had one more task. No matter how hard he worked in this life, he would use the remaining sword and 5 beads. Take it back from the beast. In addition, what worries me more is not the 2 swords and beads, but the black light that suddenly disappeared. From that light, I felt unprecedented darkness and evil. Emperor Shan and the demon spirits also have dark attributes, but compared to that black light, their darkness is like a crow compared to a phoenix. Do you know what that black light is? Asked the golden patterned ice silkworm. Tianlin shook his head. He really had no clue about what Xian Mengbing considered at the end. It seemed that he still had a lot of truth to find out. By the way, didn't you escape? Why are you here again now? Tianlin asked doubtfully. Well, it's like this. Among the ferocious beasts, in addition to the demon spirit, there is also a soul beast whose attributes are completely inconsistent with those beads. It is called Mr. Xiang. Its body is a dark gold terror claw bear, and its attributes are gold. Among the demon beasts, after the spirit was suppressed by the sword, it avoided the sword and secretly pursued it from another direction. This guy is very selfish. He has no intention of returning me to other ferocious beasts. Instead, after catching me, he secretly sealed me in this cave and turned me into an exclusive practice for him and one of his adopted brothers. Props. The golden patterned ice silkworm said awkwardly. It was caught just after escaping. It is actually quite embarrassing for a 990,000-year-old soul beast, so that's it. No wonder there are no other soul beasts near this cave. It turns out that this is the territory of the dark gold terror claw bear. Tianlin understood and then thought of something. Wait a minute, doesn't that mean that the dark gold terror claw bear will you come back anytime? Yes, I felt it just now. At this time, it should be almost at the entrance of the cave. The golden patterned ice silkworm said calmly. At this time, heavy footsteps suddenly sounded outside the cave. There should be 2 giant soul beasts. Tianlin was sweating coldly. One of them was the dark gold terror claw bear. This time, he was really hurt by this big fleshy insect. Chapter 118 Dark Gold Terror Claw Bear and Earth Behemoth. Looking at Tianlin, who was dripping with cold sweat, the golden patterned ice silkworm said nonchalantly, "Why are you so afraid? Your 2 god level martial arts have been blinded in vain. Please show your courage." What? You say is easy? That is a spirit beast that is more than 400,000 years old. Even if my potential is stronger than it, I'm only over 40 levels now, and have not grown up yet. There is no way I can be its opponent. Even escaping is difficult. Tianlin looked ugly. You don't have to die for a big meaty bug like you, but if the dark gold terror claw bear saw a human like me, it would definitely eat him alive. Don't be afraid. Brother is here. Brother can live for such a long time. If nothing else, he has a very strong life-saving ability. The spiritual shield on your body is still there. This cave is so big. Find a place to hide quickly. As long as you don't, if you appear in front of those 2 guys, they won't be able to find you. Don't worry, they will leave early tomorrow morning, and then it will be time for us to escape. Since the golden pattern ice silkworm asked Tianlin to come here, he has naturally already thought about it. Countermeasures. It just didn't let Tianlin take it to escape, but talked to him for so long because if it ran away now, it would be desperately chased by the dark gold terror claw bear who had just returned. Only between these two people, only by escaping. When the gang has just left, can you maximize your time? Tianlin nodded and put a concealment talisman on himself. The concealment talisman can hide his figure, and the golden patterned ice silkworm can cover up his aura. The combination of the two complements each other. Unless there is a god here, even if Dishan, I'm afraid it will be difficult to find him. Tianlin walked to the dark corner and sat cross-legged, and finally saw clearly the two soul beasts that walked in. The first one was a giant bear with dark golden hair all over its body. It had thick arms, and the front of the arms was extremely sharp and dark golden. The giant claw, tens of meters tall, is much larger than the ordinary dark gold terror claw bear. It will even become larger during the battle. That is one of the kings of the Stardow Forest, Mr. Zion Point, and behind it is another giant beast that is tens of meters tall. It looks like a bear, but not a bear. It has a ferocious face. It should be the sworn brother of the dark gold terror claw bear just mentioned by the golden patterned ice silkworm. It has earthy yellow skin, covered with golden lines. Tianlin had looked through the Soul Beast illustrated book, but there was no record of a Soul Beast with this image. The two Soul Beasts walked up to the golden patterned ice silkworms and opened their mouths. Suddenly, a ray of light from the ice silkworms connected to their mouths. Hey, you saw it? They are sucking my soul power again. They are really bastards. You must clearly remember the appearance of these two guys and avenge me in the future. The indignant soul biography of the golden patterned ice silkworm Yundao. Neither of these two soul beasts were of the spiritual type, so their little moves couldn't be detected at all. It's easier said than done. Tianlin said with a bitter smile. Let's not talk about the dark gold terror claw bear. What is this other big monster? Judging from its cultivation, I'm afraid it's close to 100,000 years old, right? Well, this guy's original cultivation level is only about 90,000 years old. If it hadn't been for absorbing Brother's soul power, how could it have grown so fast? According to Brother's estimation, it will be able to become a real one in less than 5 years at most. 100,000-year-old soul beast. After hearing the words of the golden patterned ice silkworm, Tianlin's eyes lit up, and a plan formed in his mind. If possible, he could easily obtain 100,000-year soul ring. But before that, we must first determine the attributes of this bear. Brother Binkan, do you know what kind of soul beast this guy is, and what are its attributes? I know a little bit about it. It should be the descendant of an ancient soul beast. When I was only 10,000 years old, there was a very powerful soul beast group on the mainland called Beeman. The strongest among them was its golden behemoth, with attributes of gold and earth. I think this guy should be the descendant of Behemoth, but the bloodline is not that pure, so he didn't inherit the metal property, only the earth element, so he should be called Earth Behemoth. This is probably why the dark gold terror claw bear loves this younger brother so much, because the dark gold terror claw bear is also a soul beast with a trace of the blood of the behemoth. It's actually a giant behemoth with an earth attribute. It's great. I'm going to decide on this guy. Tianlin was overjoyed. He planned to find a way to get this behemoth as a soul when it breaks through 100,000 years ring. For this reason, he had to slightly change the 5th soul skill he had originally planned. He gave up the 3 attribute soul skill and instead used another auxiliary skill in the magic sword skill. The layout had already begun at this moment. The dark gold terror claw bear and the earth behemoth absorbed the soul power of the golden ice silkworm for a whole night before turning around and leaving. They usually live near the lake of life. If they leave for too long, they will arouse Dishan's suspicion. They don't want to hand over the power bank of the golden pattern ice silkworm. Tianlin tore off the concealment talisman and walked to the golden patterned ice silkworm. Now is the right time. Let's leave quickly. Are you being sealed now? In other words, in a sealed state. Yes, this is a dark gold seal of the dark gold terror claw bear. Not only does this big guy have amazing offensive and defensive capabilities, but I didn't expect it to be proficient in sealing techniques. But I think, with your 2 such powerful god level martial arts, there should be a way to break it open, right? The golden patterned ice silkworm asked expectantly. That's natural. No matter how strong this sealing technique is, I can break it, as long as it's in a certain state. The 3rd soul skill is Feng Shu Feng, Tianlin. inserted the magic sword into the ground, the feng shui barrier spread, and the dark gold seal that trapped the golden ice silkworm was gradually dissolved. Not to mention this kind of sealing technique, even the 8th and 9th soul skills of extreme Douluo, as long as they are status soul skills, the results will be the same. A super barrier that will disappear all statuses. The golden patterned ice silkworm was freed and rolled on the ground in excitement. Great, I'm finally free. My benefactor, you saved me twice. Tell me your name. My name is Tianlin. You can call me Ocean. Can I just call you Brother Binken? Tianlin said with a smile. Bingshan nodded. Of course, I will protect you from now on. Okay, Brother Ice Silkworm, you shouldn't stay here for a long time. You quickly enter my Ruai treasure bag, and I will take you out of the Star Forest as soon as possible. Tianlin opened the opening of the Ruai treasure bag, and the golden patterned ice silkworm immediately got in. Going in, the treasures Zuking gave him had indeed helped him a lot. In the Stardow Forest, Tianlin started running for his life, even using the soul bone of his right leg, just to leave this dangerous place as soon as possible. Once the dark gold terror claw bearer acts, it will definitely go crazy. Hunt him down. Ocean, try your best to take me to a safe place. After I get there, I'm willing to become a wise soul ring for your martial soul. By then, you will be the soul master with the highest age soul ring in the continent. Jinwen Ice Silkworm said. Like the original work, it came up with the idea of using others to become a god. After all, it is too difficult for a soul beast to become a god. It is impossible for it to survive the divine tribulation of the next million years. It is safer to become another god's companion beast. Anyway, it can't survive anywhere on this continent. Soul beasts use it as a tonic. Humans want its soul ring, so they might as well dedicate themselves to Tianlin, who has shown great kindness to it. Chapter 119 Refining the Snow Soul. Pelning Rangrang's displeasure. Brother Binken, I'm very grateful that you think highly of me, but there is something I want to confirm with you. Are you unable to produce soul bones now? Tianlin asked as he ran. In the original work, the million-year-old Xianmeng Ice Silkworm is unable to produce soul bones, which is really a pity. The value of soul bones that are close to 1 million years old is not inferior to that of a million-year soul ring, or even more. That's right. My origin has been robbed too much by those ferocious beasts. In fact, I could have added another martial spirit for you, but you already have 2 very strong martial spirits. If you rashly add others, I'm afraid it will be detrimental to your health. You are doing more harm than good, or being swallowed up by your 2 god-level martial souls, so your efforts are in vain. So now I can only give you a 990,000-year-old soul ring. The golden patterned ice silkworm said in despair. Tianlin shook his head. That's a pity. I won't be satisfied with this. Brother Binken, I will take you to a place where there may be a way to restore your origin and let your cultivation reach the final limit. By then, only then can we maximize the power you gave me. At this time, the golden patterned ice silkworm was not like being sucked by the ferocious beast of the Lake of Life for 10,000 years in the original work, but was saved by Tianlin's spiritual pearl divine sword just less than 100 years ago. In the next 12 years, the absorbed it's just the dark gold terror claw bear and the earth behemoth. Tianlin is confident that he can help it make up for the lost part. As for cultivation, although the cultivation of soul beasts is calculated in terms of years, it does not mean that a 100,000-year-old soul beast really lives for 100,000 years, but that their cultivation has reached the 100,000-year level. This golden patterned ice silkworm, in fact, the real lifetime is only a few 100,000 years. The reason why it has a cultivation level of nearly a million years is because it absorbs the cold marrow of 10,000 years all year round, which makes its cultivation level increase rapidly. In the same way, with the help of other heavenly materials and earthly treasures, it can make another breakthrough. Tianlin used all his soul power and finally escaped from the Stardow Forest one day later. Then he went non-stop and spent more than 10 days going from the Stardow Forest to the Sunset Forest. Ocean, take a rest. We are safe after leaving the Stardow Forest. Now your soul power has been consumed too much. This overdraft is very bad for your body. The golden patterned ice silkworm said with concern. It's okay, Brother Binken. We will arrive soon after passing through the poisonous forest in front. Tianlin took out the Yalxiang Kilo Immortal, forced away the poisonous mist, and returned to the first treasure of Douluo Continent, the Ice and Fire Eyes. After arriving here, Tianlin can finally rest assured. This can be said to be his and Qibao secret base. No one would come here normally. Moreover, the outside is full of poisonous formations. Even 10,000-year-old soul beasts can't break through. The golden patterned ice silkworm jumped out of Ruai's treasure bag and looked at the treasure lined in front of him. He was so horrified that he couldn't control himself. What a strong power of ice and fire. Where is this place? Just that ice spring can speed up the recovery of my origin. The attributes of the ice silkworm are spirit and ice, so the two eyes of ice and fire have a great effect on it. But Tianlin's purpose does not stop there. He wants to refine elixirs for the Xian Meng ice silkworm. Good people are awarded. He didn't directly empty out the ice and fire eyes like Tangsan. Therefore, at this time, there are still many top quality medicinal herbs left here, and even some immortal ones. With these, Tianlin is confident to help Xian Mengbing silkworm breaks through the bottleneck point. The alchemy furnace that Qibao prepared for him is still here. The elixir he wants to refine today is called the Snow Soul Pill. It needs to use cold attribute herbs as the medicine. Ice attribute soul masters or soul beasts can take it. Cultivation will undergo earth-shaking changes. Originally, the aniseed black ice grass was the best medicine, but it was a pity that this thing had already been taken by Tianlin. But it didn't matter. There was something else in the eyes of the ice and fire eyes, that is the world's a snow silkworm. The snow silkworm is originally the best among cordyceps sinensis, and the world's a snow silkworm is the best among the best. Its cold attribute is as strong as that of the star anise black ice grass. Using this thing, Tianlin still has the confidence to refine the Snow Soul Pill. Hey, Ocean, it's so comfortable here. I like it here. Tianlin was collecting medicinal herbs. At this time, the golden patterned ice silkworm was playing in the ice spring of the ice and fire eyes. With its cultivation of nearly 1,000,000 years, even the cold air of this ice spring could not help it. Instead, it was against its extremely beneficial. Brother Binkan, just practice well here. With this ice spring here, your origin will be restored very quickly. Tianlin said with a smile. Ocean, thank you for saving me and bringing me to such a good place. I promise you that when I become your wisdom soul ring, under my training, you will definitely become an unprecedented person who cannot be found in heaven or earth. The second most powerful soul master. Even if that old guy Shan comes, he will be hacked to death by your sword. That's natural. Brother Binkan, I promise you that I will definitely help you become a god. Tianlin and Golden Pattern Eyes Worm made a commitment to each other. This was not empty talk, but an achievement they firmly believed in each other and would definitely accomplish. On the other side, after the Shrek 7 monsters returned to Soto City, the master also came and gave them so-called devil training point. In fact, it was just running circles. Ningrangrang didn't quite understand that the Qibao Glazed sect also had physical training, but they had never run for a whole day. What was the point of it? Moreover, if she came to the academy just to learn how to run laps, then she could do it at home. So why did she come here? Ningrangrang wanted to leave, but Tianlin had told her before that, although the master had some reputation, it was not entirely true to say that he had no ability at all. Some of his 10 core theories on martial arts are common sense, some are wrong, but some are the essence that only he truly masters. One of them, even Tianlin values very much, is the theory of fusion of martial souls in different bodies. This is a profound theory that even Ning Fengzi and Bibidong have not mastered the depth of knowledge. Even Ning Fengzi once doubted the authenticity of this statement, but Tianlin, who had read the original work, knew that this statement was true. The Shrek 7 monsters relied on this theory to complete 7 tasks in the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy competition. Integrated fusion technology. Tang San, who was only at level 40 at the time, reached level 70 in an instant, unleashed his true form of the Clear Sky Hammer, and instantly killed New Kamikaze Academy with 1 strike point. If the Qibao Glazed sect can master this theory, it will be of great benefit to them, because looking at the entire continent, the Qibao Glazed sect is the sect with the most soul masters. Besides Wuhan Palace and the 2 major empires, and most of them are 3 or 4. a 10th level mid to low level soul master. As long as you learn this, and then use some soul masters who can melt rings, you can make these low level soul masters burst out with extremely powerful power in an instant, and the overall strength of the sect will inevitably increase greatly. The core of this theory is the talent of ring fusion. The only one among the Shrek 7 devils who has this talent is Ningrangrang. Therefore, if the master wants to win the first place in the future academy competition, he must teach this technique to Ningrangrang. Giving it to Ningrangrang is equivalent to giving it to the Qibao Glazed sect. Therefore, no matter how difficult it is at this time, Ningrangrang should endure it. After all, she is the successor master of the Qibao Glazed sect. Some things cannot be relied on, Tianlin gang. She must also take responsibility. If it weren't for Brother Jian's instructions, I wouldn't have tolerated you. Ningrangrang thought unhappily, and couldn't help complaining about the master's precious broomstick. Either you just treat it as a secret skill of the sect, and don't spread it to others, then she won't covet it, but since you want to write it down among the 10 core theories and publish it, and hope to be recognized by the world, then you should make it clear and just publish a name without mentioning the principle at all. Who can understand this, and who will believe it? Question mark? Chapter 120 Secretly studying the Zhuanshan Baolu Emperor Da arrives. A few days later, the first stage of the master's devil training was finally over. Every time he saw his little princess panting from exhaustion, Yin Yang wanted to give the master a 9th soul skill point. But then I thought about it. Although there is little point in running circles non-stop, it has at least tempered Rangrang's will, and the Qibao Glazed sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family have been married. No matter how unhappy the master is, he is not easy to move at this time. After all, although the master was expelled from the family, his bloodline will not change. He is Yu Yuanzhen's biological son. Now that Yin Yang had appeared, he simply moved into Shrek Academy openly, protecting Ningrangrang and taking care of Tangsun at the same time. This was not only in response to Haoshan Douluo's request, but also in keeping in mind Tianlin's instructions to monitor Tangsun's every move. Tangsun had a lot of good things to trick him into. This Tangsun actually masters such a secret skill. Where did he learn it? In the early morning, Tangsun faced the rising sun and practiced his Zhuanshan technique in purple demon eyes. Little did he know that his every move was watched by a pair of sharp eagle eyes, Eye of the Condor. This is Yin Yang's 6th soul skill. Originally, Tianlin was surprised that this soul skill, which only increases in sight, is actually the 6th soul skill. It is a pity. Later, he learned that the eagle's eye was not as simple as imagined. Not only could it see through the opponent's attack route in battle, it could even see how the opponent's soul power was operating. After a few days, Tangsun's soul power movement route, when he practiced Zhuanshan Kung and Purple Demon Eyes, had been almost completely figured out by Yin Yang. Now if Yin Yang is given a pen and a book, he can use these 2 books. The first few levels of the secret book were written down silently, but since Tangsun hadn't yet mastered the last few levels, he couldn't obtain them for the time being. As for the other skills of controlling crane and capturing dragon, mysterious jade hand and ghost shadow, they are even simpler. Yin Yang has seen a few Tangsun soul battles, and with the strength of his title Douluo, he can understand them quite well. It can be said that in addition to having 100 solutions to hidden weapons, Yin Yang is now a semi-acquainted Zhuanshan Baolu. Although it is shameful to steal lessons, Tianlin, as a time traveler, has long been accustomed to being shameless. Although he also has unique skills, even if he wants to pass on the skills of Shushan and Wahuang in the future, the disciples of the sect must also have core, inner door and outer door. It is impossible for everyone to learn the most advanced skills directly, as this will inevitably cause the skills to be leaked. Therefore, Tianlin has already thought about it. In the future, when the sect grows, the core disciples who are loyal to the sect and have excellent qualifications can practice Tianlin's skills, while the ordinary inner sect disciples can practice the skills in Zhuanshan Baolu. After all, Zhuanshan skills and martial arts were still considered top-notch compared to the general skills of Douluo Continent, and Tangsun could rely on them to dominate the continent. The last outer disciples can only practice the sect's ordinary meditation method. However, with the background of Qibao Glazed sect, even the ordinary meditation method is considered high-end to the outside world. Sensei training method is so consistent with my eagle eye. Haha, damn Tang Heyo, you ask me to protect Tang-san, so I won't charge too much for your son's protection. Yin Yang smiled mockingly and said to himself, as for the 100,000-year-old beast, do you really think you can leave it to your son as your wife? Do you think Zio Ocean can't discover the things I can discover? Yin Yang knew that after Tianlin's training in the past few years, his external soul bone flame golden eyes could see through reality, and Tianlin had long known Zio Wu's identity as a 100,000-year-old beast. He had sworn a martial soul oath not to tell anyone about it, but Tianlin didn't. He also guessed that the reason why Tianlin gave the Lengxi pill to Zio Wu was to prevent Zio Wu from being discovered and hunted by another title Douluo in advance. When the time is right in the future, if he takes action himself, it will be like keeping Zio Wu in captivity. It's a pity that Tang Heyo is still alive now, otherwise he would definitely be more cruel and forcefully tie Zio Wu back to the sect. Regarding Yin Yang's speculation, Tianlin could only say, Grandpa Ying, you are thinking too much. He is really not interested in Zio Wu's soul ring. He even wants to use Zio Wu to instigate Wuhan Palace against the spirit beasts of the Stardao Forest in the future. Now those ferocious beasts have ended their retreat 10,000 years early. If Wuhan Palace rushes to the Lake of Life again like in the original work, there must be no good ending. He himself can reap the benefits. Whether it is to add a blow to Wuhan Palace, or take the opportunity to snatch a few spirit beads from those ferocious beasts, it will be beneficial to him without any harm. In addition, in the past few days, other members of the Huangdao team have also arrived as scheduled, but they did not face off against the Shrek 7 monsters like in the original work. After all, the current Huangdao team is a golden fighting soul team with all level 40 or above. As for the Shrek 7 monsters, because Tang-san lost the 8 spider spears, their results, although good, were not as amazing as in the original work. The team battle spirit changed from 28 consecutive wins to 26 wins and 2 defeats, including 2 games. They lost to 2 teams whose members were all close to Soul Sect level. This also resulted in Tang-san and the others being still only the Silver Fighting Spirit team, so naturally they would not fight against the Gold Fighting Spirit team. On this day, after the Huangdao team easily defeated a Soul Sect team, Kinming took them to Shrek Academy. Dean Flender, teachers AO, Kinming is back. As soon as he entered the college, Kinming shouted excitedly, as if he had gone home. Haha, Zio-kin, you kid, you haven't sent a letter back since you came here 3 years ago. Do you still have me as a teacher in your heart? Zio Wuji heard the voice and walked out quickly. Teacher, forgive me. In the past few years, Kinming has spent all his energy on teaching these children, so he has neglected other things. Kinming complained. Teach children? Flanders frowned. Kinming, you are a teacher. There is no problem in educating children, but you must not neglect your own practice. What level are you at now? Flender values Kinming very much. He hopes that Kinming can become the first title Douluo from Shrek, so that Shrek's reputation can be fully established. The last time Kinming brought his girlfriend back, she was over level 50, which made him very satisfied. If he hadn't reached level 60 now, Flanders would definitely have to give him some extra lessons. Dean Kinming is now level 66. He is very lucky. On the way here a few days ago, he was promoted to another level. Zhaoyan held Kinming's hand and said proudly, his boyfriend is so outstanding, she is also proud of it. Level 66. Flanders was surprised at first, and then ecstatic. Haha, okay. You are worthy of being a monster who graduated from Shrek. Kinming, you didn't disgrace me. It seems that you can use it. Won't be long before you can surpass me. Teacher, thank you. In fact, these children I brought up are the real monsters. Children, these 2 are my teachers. Please introduce yourselves. Kinming turned back to Huangdao and the others. Chapter 121 Snow Soul Pearl is completed. Only then did Flanders notice the 8 children behind Kinming. The oldest was only 17 or 18 years old. At this age, even if he was extremely talented, it would be considered good to have the strength to join the Soul Sect for the first time. But what they introduced themselves next really shocked Flanders. The first is Yu Xianheng and Du Guyan, the captain and deputy captain. I'm Yu Xianheng, a level 45 attack type fighting spirit sect. Dubu Yan, level 45 control type fighting soul sect. Then there are the Shi brothers, Shimo, level 44 defensive fighting soul sect. Graphite, level 44 defensive fighting soul sect. Next are two agility attack type soul masters. Yu Feng, level 43 agility attack type fighting soul sect. Osluo, level 43 agility attack type fighting soul sect. Finally, there are Gu Ran and Li Lingling. Gu Ran, level 44 strong attack and defense dual system fighting soul sect. Yi Lingling, level 43 auxiliary weapon soul sect. Their self-reported levels not only frightened Flanders and Zhao Wuji, but also the Shrek 7 monsters who had just arrived, except Ning Rang Grang. They also called themselves monsters, but these guys in front of them were no better than them. Inferior in fact. Tianlin is not satisfied with Huang Dao's current level. Even the strongest Yu Xianheng and Du Guyan are only at level 45. They also take fairy grass. The Shrek 7 monsters in the original book are not as good as them. They are at least in their early 50s, and in 3 years, they will be at the Soul Emperor level per capita point as expected. The Imperial team's talent was still unable to truly recruit the Shrek 7 monsters as the protagonist group point, but for Tianlin, it's enough. After all, he is still here, right? Tang San stepped forward and said, Senior Kinming, hello, I'm Tang San. You are the leader of the Imperial battle team, right? Brother Jun asked me to convey something to you. He said he had something to do, so he left early, and then I will meet you at Xiandao Royal Academy. Brother Jun, you are referring to Zhaoshan, right? This bastard said he came here first to have fun, but he slipped away when we arrived. He is talking too much to himself. Yu Xianheng said dissatisfied. There was no way. He was too tired when Tianlin left the team. Now Giran has also shifted from a strong offensive position to a defensive position. Therefore, Huang Dao's attack points are now only Tianlin and Yu Xianheng. As long as one of them leaves, then the other one must bear the responsibility of output alone. Look back, I have to use my dragon claws to scratch him a few times. Yu Xianheng was still thinking about it, but he heard a cold voice at this time. Yu Xianheng, who do you want to tickle? Dubu Yan looked at Yu Xianheng coldly. She had always been submissive to her fiancé, but the premise was that Tianlin should not be involved. In the past few years, Du Guyan has done everything well, except that she has become a younger brother. In order to repay Tianlin for saving her and her grandfather's lives, she loves Tianlin as her own brother. When fighting souls in a group, Du Guyan would be merciful in most cases, but once one of Xianheng or Tianlin was injured, she would immediately go berserk and use all her strength to cast the jade-scaled dragon poison, almost turning her opponents into thick poison several times. Water. Jaina. I was just joking. You know, I can't beat Zhaoshan at all. Yu Xianheng hurriedly explained that he was most afraid that his fiancé would go crazy. The dignified heir to the blue electric Tyrannosaurus Rex family now actually has a bit of a henpecky temperament. Did you hear that? Even Captain Huang Dao said he couldn't beat my boss. Mahanjan really did not follow the wrong person. Mahanjan said proudly to Oscar beside him. Hey, fat man, what are you talking about? Who do you call boss? Guran suddenly pointed at Mahanjan and said angrily. Mahanjan was startled by him, but fortunately Ning Rangrang said, okay Guran, Hanjan has agreed to join our Qibao Glazed sect. Why are you so angry? Besides, usually, even if you see someone else, a man is chasing Sister Lingling, but I haven't seen you so angry, sister. This is different. This fat guy actually dares to rob me of being the boss. The position of boss and number one younger brother belongs to me. Guran. Whoever dares to rob me will definitely kill him. Guran said in the cruelest tone, the lowest if. The implication is that Tianlin is more important in his heart than Yi Lingling. This guy thinks that Tianlin's younger brother is addicted. He has no choice but to do it. Tianlin has given him too many good things, which are really delicious. The members of the Imperial fighting team helplessly held their foreheads. They were already used to it, as long as they just pretended not to recognize Guran every time he got sick. But Damu Bei and others were very puzzled by how much benefit Tianlin had given him despite his strong strength. At this time, Tianlin, the subject of discussion, was concentrating on refining the elixir. The refining method of the Snow Soul pill is completely opposite to that of ordinary pills. It does not use fire, but ice. And although this is also the ultimate divine pill, its completion time is not as long as the repairing pill. 11 days is not even as long as the 9th grade purple golden pill. It only takes 7 days to determine the success or failure of the elixir. The short refining time is its advantage, but its shortcomings are also obvious. The chance of successfully refining this elixir is less than 50%, because it has to condense all the extremely powerful cold energy into the elixir. As long as there is a problem with the elixir during refining, all the condensed cold energy will be lost in an instant, and the elixir will become a useless elixir. Fortunately, here is the Eye of Ice and Fire. With the help of the constant cold air from the ice spring, it can increase the success rate of the Snow Soul pill to the 7th level. With such a high success rate, Tianlin believes that God will not be so unfavorable to him. Now, Tianlin has reached a critical period. In the last period of time, he stayed awake and stayed by the alchemy furnace. He had no time to fully recover the soul power he had lost in the past few days through meditation. This made the golden patterned ice silkworm a little worried. Ziocean, take a rest. With this ice and fire eyes, my origin has been restored a little. Even if I can't provide you with a 990,000-year-old soul bone, an ordinary 10, but it's almost no problem at the 10,000-year level. Tianlin shook his head. Not enough, Brother Binkan. Don't forget, our goal is to become a god, so the word almost cannot appear. When practicing, it is always almost the same, but when it comes to the real critical moment, it will be a little bit closer. Well said, Ziocean. Based on your words, I have chosen the wrong person. The golden patterned ice silkworm admired. I will accompany you today until the day when the magic pill is released. Tianlin smiled slightly and allowed the golden patterned ice silkworms to sit next to him. Each person had a big meatworm, and they just looked at the alchemy furnace for a whole day and night. On the 7th day of alchemy, suddenly, an extremely strong cold air came from the alchemy furnace, and the temperature of the entire ice and fire eye dropped instantly. Even the fire spring on the side was covered with ice except for the central area. Tianlin's eyes lit up, and he stood up excitedly. This overwhelming cold air. The Snow Soul Divine Pill is done. Chapter 122, Breakthrough of a Million Years, Divine Tribulation arrives. Wow, what a terrifying elixir, such a powerful cold air, I have never seen it even on Bing Bing. The golden patterned ice silkworm was horrified. It knew that Tianlin had been refining a powerful elixir, but it didn't expect it to be so powerful. The ice in its mouth is the Ice Jade Emperor Scorpion, one of the top 10 ferocious beasts, a super soul beast with the ultimate ice. That's natural. In order to refine this elixir, I not only use the 1000-year-old snow silkworms as the medicine guide, but also put all the snow silkworms in the entire ice and fire eyes into it, as well as those that I had taken the star anise ice grass. With the ultimate ice as an auxiliary, coupled with the ice spring of the ice and fire eyes, all the advantages can be combined to create this peerless divine elixir. Tianlin said proudly, the efficacy of this snow soul elixir is even more powerful than before, far surpassing the heaven building pill and the Zuanwu golden pill. It is the most powerful divine pill that Tianlin has refined so far. However, because this elixir is so potent, even ice attribute soul masters may not be able to take it. Only Brother Binkan, with your 990,000 years of profound cultivation, can you afford to digest it. Tianlin used his soul power to pull out the elixir. Brother Binkan, without further ado, now is our first step towards becoming the strongest. Okay, I will go crazy with you today. The golden patterned ice silkworm did not hesitate, and swallowed the snow soul pill in one gulp. As soon as the snow soul divine pill entered its body, the effect of the medicine began to take effect, and the entire body of the golden patterned ice silkworm began to emit a snow white light. Wow, I didn't expect that my ice type brother would feel cold one day, but I feel so good when I'm cold. The golden patterned ice silkworm jumped into the ice spring. It wanted to use the energy of the ice spring to help it completely digest this magical elixir. As time passed, the sky suddenly became dense with dark clouds. Moreover, these dark clouds only gathered in the two eyes of ice and fire, and did not spread outward. Bang. Suddenly, the entire ice spring shook, and a large snow-white insect jumped out of the spring water. The light on its body was still shining, still white, but with a touch of gold added, making it look more noble. Golden soul power is the symbol of a million-year soul beast, but the golden color of each million-year soul beast is different. The ice-attributed golden patterned ice silkworm is platinum. If it is replaced by a dark attributed soul beast, it's dark gold. If it's water attribute, it's usually blue gold. I saw that the 10th golden pattern had grown on the body of the golden patterned ice silkworm, and its origin had been fully replenished. Haha, I have finally become an unprecedented million-year-old soul beast. From today on, I will give myself a resounding name, called Cheyenne Meng Ice Silkworm. Zai Ocean, please call me Brother Cheyenne Meng from now on. Brother Binkan is too ugly. Cheyenne Meng. Binkan said. Tianlin nodded. Okay, Brother Cheyenne Meng, but now is not the time for you to be happy. Look at the sky. Hearing this, Cheyenne Meng Bing Silkworm was stunned. He looked up at the sky and found that the originally calm dark clouds actually began to roll with thunder clouds after it came out of the seclusion. Moreover, Cheyenne Meng Bing Silkworm actually felt the power of God from it. Holy crap, a million-year divine tribulation is coming so soon. It shouldn't be. Cheyenne Meng Binkan realized something. Zai Ocean, how much did your divine pill increase my cultivation? It must be more than 10,000 years, otherwise the divine tribulation should not arrive until 1,000 years later. I don't know about this, but the refining method of the snow soul pill comes from a more advanced world. Your 10,000 years of cultivation is nothing in that world, so I estimate that it is at least 50,000 years old. Tianlin scratched his head in embarrassment. He also knew that he was in trouble. A soul beast can become a god within a million years, but the prerequisite is that it has to survive a million-year divine tribulation. If it fails to survive, it will die, and the millions of years of hard work will be destroyed. To put it bluntly, it is impossible for the Cheyenne Meng Ice Silkworm to survive. Firstly, even if it has exceeded a million years, its fighting ability is still the same, pitifully weak. Secondly, with the current oppression of soul beasts in the god realm, they will not allow the soul beast to become a god easily, and it will inevitably make the divine calamity more difficult. The vision of the ice and fire eyes has also attracted the attention of the 5 strongest guys in the world today. Qin Douluo from the Wuhan Palace, Tang Chen, the Slaughter King of the Slaughter City, Bo Segsi, the High Priest of Poseidon Island, and the strongest sea soul the beast Deep Sea Demonic Whale King, and the strongest land soul beast, the golden-eyed black dragon King Dishan, all looked over Tang Chen in the killing city. Just raised his eyes slightly. To him, it was none of his business, even if someone became a god. After all, he was not Tang Chen now, he was just a controlled puppet. How is it possible to have the breath of God? Qin Douluo has not left the worship hall for many years, but today's matter is too important, and he has to go out to take a look. Their god of angels has not been passed down yet, but they don't know. The guy who came out of nowhere is actually going to become a god. If the god who is about to become a god wants to be an enemy of Wuhan Palace, it will definitely be a disaster. The heaven and earth changed suddenly, and I became a god in one day. Bo Segsi murmured to himself. Tang Chen, could this person who became a god be you? If you succeed, will you come to see me again? How is it possible? How could a soul beast break through a million years before me? The Deep Sea Demon Whale King claims to be the strongest soul beast, but now he is surpassed by others. How can he accept this? My lord, a soul beast is going to become a god. Dishan, who was in the center of the Stardao forest, suddenly stood up and planned to find out. At this time, a misty voice stopped it. Don't worry about it, Dishan. That million-year-old soul beast should be the golden patterned ice silkworm. It is too reckless. It has no chance of breaking through the million-year barrier. Even after the divine tribulation, those despicable guys in the god realm will not let it succeed. In their hearts, we soul beasts are the most humble existences, and have no qualifications to be on an equal footing with them. And I'm also seriously injured now. Even if I want to save it, I'm powerless. This Voice contained a strong pity that it was not easy for a soul beast with such a high level of cultivation to die because of her own recklessness. At the same time, she seemed to have a strong hatred for the god realm. Ah, Xiaoshan, you killed my brother. This terrible divine calamity is over for me. With the two eyes of ice and fire, Qian Meng Bingshu howled. Tianlin hurriedly said, Brother Qian Meng, I'm sorry, I was careless. There is only one way to resolve this divine calamity. Hearing this, Qian Meng Bingxi regained his composure. Xiaoshan, are you sure? I haven't had time to compress my soul power yet. Just give me another 2 or 3 months until I have sealed most of my power. Even if you are just I can guarantee success for a young soul warrior who has just reached level 10. But now, it is too early. The million-year soul ring is not so easy to pick up, and the risk is extremely high. Tianlin nodded helplessly. Of course I know, but the divine tribulation will not give us more time. Don't hesitate, Brother Qian Meng, otherwise everything will be over once the divine tribulation comes. Okay, let's start now. I originally wanted to wait until you reached level 50 before I sacrifice the sword to you, but now it seems it's too late. Qian Meng Bingxi also strengthened his determination. The only way to resolve the divine calamity is to sacrifice immediately. If the divine calamity loses its target, it will dissipate on its own. Well, come on, Brother Qian Meng, become the first soul ring of my Holy Spirit Pearl, and also the first wisdom soul ring in history. Tianlin released the Holy Spirit Pearl, and at the same time, opened his own spiritual sea. Xiaoshan, my origin has been completely restored. This time I will sacrifice my soul ring and soul bone to you at the same time. The energy of millions of years is not so easy to bear. I will try my best to help you suppress it. Qian Meng Bingxi said after that, and dived into Tianlin's spiritual sea. Don't worry, Xiaoshan, this is your first time after all. I will be gentle, brother. Qian Meng, at this time, could you at least change your words? Tianlin roared while holding back the severe pain in his soul. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 The Secret of the Holy Spirit Bead in the Place of Refuge of the Holy Soul. In Qibao Village, Tianlin's mother, Imolan, was sewing a new dress for Tianlin. Her needlework had always been the best in the village, but this time, she made a mistake for the first time and accidentally pricked herself finger. What's the matter, Lan? Zhang Qianhe asked worriedly, taking out the medicinal powder and applying it to his wife. I don't know, I suddenly felt uneasy. Did something happen to Xiaoshan? The so-called mother-child connection means that as a mother, even an ordinary person without soul power can feel Tianlin's pain at this time. No, he is now the #1 genius in the 7 Treasures Glazed sect. With so many titled Douluo protecting him, how can something happen? Zhang Qianhe touched his wife's hair and comforted in more and nodded. She could only hope that it was just her illusion. In fact, it was not just her at this time, but Chen Xin, who was practicing the unity of man and sword in Qibao Glazed sect, suddenly opened his eyes, and all the sword energy dispersed, making his practice today fall short. Xiaoshan. Chen Xin flew high in the sky with his sword, looked into the distance, frowned and said, Xiaoshan, I don't know what you are doing, but don't force yourself too much. Your Highness, it's time for dinner. In the Xiandao Palace, many maids brought plates of delicious food for Zuking to enjoy. Zuking had just finished handling the government affairs and stood up. Suddenly, his heart palpitated, and he couldn't help but cover his heart. Your Highness, what's wrong with you? The maid next to her asked with concern. Zuking always treated people kindly, so everyone respected and loved him. Seeing him like this, they couldn't help but feel worried. I'm fine. I'm not feeling well today, so I won't need to eat. Please go down, and don't disturb my rest. Yes, Your Highness the Crown Prince. Do you need an imperial doctor for you? No. Need. I just need to take a rest. Zuking waved his hand, and the maids understood and all retreated obediently. Point at this time, Zuking finally couldn't even maintain her transformation, and turned back to the beautiful Qian Rinxu, with 6 beautiful wings spread out on her back. Seraph, the power of Xiangsu is actually here. Warn me that Xiaoshan is in danger. What happened to him, uncle? Qian Rinxu shouted, and at this moment, a man suddenly appeared in the corner of the room. He was the snake-speared Douluo Shilong who had cut off Orth's other ear. Young master, are you okay? Shilong looked at Qian Rinxu, who had changed into her original state, with concern. If something big had not happened, she would not have shown her true form here. I'm fine. Uncle Shi, I want to ask you one thing. Go to the Qibao Glazed sect and find out about Xiaoshan. I suspect that he is in mortal danger now. Young master, please forgive me for speaking frankly. You care too much about that Tianlin. Don't forget that he is our enemy. In the past few years, although you have tried your best to show your kindness to him, in my opinion, his heart is still in the 7 treasure glazed tile sect, not you. Snakespear Douluo reminded. I know, but Uncle Shi, the fusion power of Tianlin and my martial soul is extremely important. With the help of his fellow practitioners, you should be able to see the speed of my progress and the purity of my soul power in the past few years. He is still valuable to me. Don't worry, if one day we have to be enemies, I will not show mercy. Qian Rinxu said firmly, but Shilong, from her words, I can hear a hint of loneliness. Young master, are you really just using him? Shilong thought in his mind, but did not ask. He just replied to Qian Rinxu lightly, young master, it's fine if you understand. In that case, please be quiet, young master. Waiting for news from my subordinates. After saying that, Snakespear Douluo's figure immediately disappeared into the East Palace Point. Just as they had expected, Tianlin was experiencing great pain at this time. The million-year soul ring and the million-year head soul bone were absorbed at the same time, and the sudden increase in attributes was about to tear his soul and body apart. Xian Meng Bingshan worked hard to seal the life of his soul ring, but because of the coming divine catastrophe, this sacrifice was too hasty. It was not like the original work, where it was fully prepared before acting. Now it doesn't know how to do it. Know how many can be sealed. Fortunately, Tianlin had used immortal herbs to build his golden body before, and with the huge mental power provided by the attached soul bone, he could barely hold on now, but he didn't know how long he could hold on. Everything was calculated correctly, except that the snow soul divine pill boosted Xian Meng Ice Silkworm too much, triggering its divine calamity in advance, and Xian Meng Ice Silkworm didn't even have time to compress its own soul power. The ice and fire Liang eyes echoed Tianlin's shrill cry. Qian Meng Binkan said anxiously, Xiaoshan, you must hold on. Brother and you are inseparable now. If you die, it will be 1 corpse and 2 lives. Sorry, brother Qian Meng, it was me who hurt you. I'm afraid I really can't hold on anymore this time. Tianlin finished apologetically and gradually began to lose consciousness. Forget it, this is my life. Xiaoshan, you don't have to apologize. Speaking of which, if I hadn't asked you to save me, you wouldn't be in this situation. It's just that this time, I want to make a mistake with you. We are 2 lovers with the same destiny. Qian Meng Bingshu sighed, and it also lay down, not even bothering to seal the soul ring. Little insect, are you giving up like this? Also, many of your words are wrong. You and Xiaoshan should be considered brothers and sisters. The Mandarin ducks with the same fate refer to husband and wife. At this moment, a gentle voice echoed. In the spiritual sea of Tianlin. This shocked Qian Meng Iceworm. It was now a million-year-old spiritual soul beast, and someone could actually communicate with its soul directly without letting it find out. No matter what level this is, even gods can't do it. Is it possible that there are still tens of millions of years of soul beasts in this world that can't do it? Who? Come out here. Don't scare me. I'm not scared. Qian Meng Binkan mustered up the courage to say, but with that trembling tone, anyone could feel its fear. Don't be afraid. I don't mean any harm. Tianlin's holy spirit pearl shone with a burst of golden light. At this time, a beautiful woman with the head of a human and the body of a snake appeared in the sea of Tianlin's spirit. Snake. Soul beast. What kind of soul beast are you? Why have I never seen it before? Also, why do you appear in Ocean's spiritual sea? Qian Meng Bingxi asked continuously. The woman just smiled indifferently. Soul Beast. I'm not your Soul Beast clan. I'm the Nuwa clan. To be precise, I'm a descendant of Nuwa. The Holy Spirit bead in Ocean's hand belongs to our Nuwa clan. This is the place where the Holy Soul takes refuge, and I'm the oldest soul sleeping in the Holy Spirit bead. Nuwa. What is she, a god? Qian Meng Bingxi asked. That's right. It's just a little stronger than the gods you have here. Empress Nuwa probably only needs to use one magic spell to destroy you. Halfway through the Nuwa descendants' words, Qian Meng Bingkan interrupted. You mean to say that you can destroy the entire continent with one move, right? I don't believe such ridiculous things. Qian Meng Bing Silkworm was extremely contemptuous. It hated such people who talked nonsense. The most point the descendant of Nuwa was not angry, but said, you are right. This is really ridiculous. How can Nuwa's blow be so low end? I mean, she can be destroyed with one blow. Your entire god realm clean, not the Douluo Continent that is as small as dust. Chapter 124 Holy Spirit Realm Million Year Soul Ring Soulbone. Are you kidding me? You know what the god realm is like. There are several god kings, dozens of main gods, and countless second level and third level gods. The weakest among them is even worse than the ultimate Douluo on the mainland, is 100 times more powerful. Qian Meng Bingshan asked tremblingly, because what this Nuwa descendant said was too terrifying for him to believe, ever. Since I followed the Holy Spirit bead to this world, I have generally felt what you call the Divine King level aura. It is precisely because I understand that I make such a judgment. Although I'm a descendant of Nuwa, my power in my heyday was far less than the tip of the iceberg of my empress. Even so, to be honest, I still feel that the God King level power you mentioned is not very good. Nuwa's descendant said it very calmly, but her tone. But Qian Meng Bingkan unconsciously believed her words. She was really too confident, and she couldn't pretend to have such a temperament that she didn't take the God King seriously at all. So, you can save Ocean. Also, if Ocean gets your Holy Spirit bead, will he be able to grow to the level of Nuwa Empress you mentioned? Qian Meng Bingkan asked hopefully. If so, really, that's a lot of money point. But Nuwa's descendant immediately poured a basin of cold water on it, shook their heads and said, reaching the level of Nuwa Empress? That's impossible. The Holy Spirit bead is just one of the Empress's magic weapons. Even if it is developed to the limit, it cannot reach her realm. Hearing this, Qian Meng Bingkan was a little disappointed, but then Nuwa's descendant's words brought it back from the disappointment. Don't be disappointed so obviously. Although Ocean can't grow up to have someone as great as the Empress strength, but it's still possible to get to my level. Since the Holy Spirit bead came to this world, it has adapted to the rules of this world and begun to condense the divine status on its own. And I'm the assessor and guide of whether Ocean can achieve the divine status in the future. This divine status is better than what you said. The God King's position is much higher, so you don't have to worry about making the wrong bet. Great, then please help save Ocean. Qian Meng Bingxi rekindled hope. It was not greedy in the first place. It would be enough for Tianlin to inherit the title of a first level god in the future point. Now that there is a prepared super god king level god, what else does it have to worry about? The descendant of Nuwa smiled slightly and said, okay, but this is the only time I can help him. By the way, little insect, don't tell Ocean about my affairs for the time being. When he officially starts the assessment, I'll show up and meet him. Okay, brother understands. Qian Meng Ice Silkworm nodded repeatedly. It would not dare to disobey this unfathomable descendant of the great goddess Nuwa. Otherwise it would be too unfair to be made into a roasted silkworm baby by her. The figures of Nuwa's descendants merged into the Holy Spirit Pearl again. At this time, the Holy Spirit Pearl emitted a dazzling light, and the holy breath barrier began to change. It was not only more sacred, but also expanded in scope. The entire ice and fire eye was enveloped in it. Surrounded by this barrier, the herbs began to grow at an accelerated rate. Some herbs that originally took a year or two to grow quickly entered the mature stage. This is such a strong vitality. Ocean's holy breath barrier has evolved into the Holy Spirit realm. Qian Meng Bingkan said happily. Little Insect, I have sealed your soul ring for 700,000 years now, and the remaining 200,000 years are left to you. If Ziotian now only has a mere 100,000 years of energy left, he should be in the realm of the Holy Spirit. It can be sustained. Nuwa's descendant said in a message, brother, notes, but my sealing skills are not very good. I'm afraid that the energy of 200,000 years will gradually overflow. Cheyenne Meng Ice Silkworm said awkwardly. It has just passed 1,000,000 years and has no time to learn anything. Then, you should remind Ziotian to practice quickly. As his level increases, the soul ring will be gradually unsealed, or you can find other ways to use this excess power. Otherwise, the spilled energy will only be wasted. Now, besides the sword and the spirit beads, there is another thing that came to this world with Ziotian. It will be the biggest test for Ziotian in the future. Remember, you have to supervise Ziotian, and remember not to slack off. Female. The descendants of Hua warned, sister, what is the test? Please explain clearly. Cheyenne Meng Bingxi asked anxiously, but now it has not received any reply. The descendant of Nuwa may have entered the depths of the Holy Spirit Pearl again, and started to sleep point at this time. With the help of the Holy Spirit realm, the wounds on Tianlin's body and soul were being repaired at an extremely fast speed. Tianlin, who had been unconscious, slowly opened his eyes and murmured, Cheyenne Meng brother, are we dead? Cheyenne Meng. Bingxi was shocked in the sea of his soul. You're so damn big, your barrier has evolved into a realm. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and continue to meditate. This time we must absorb the soul in one go. Ring soul bone, okay, brother Cheyenne Meng. Although Tianlin didn't know why, his Holy Spirit bead suddenly became so powerful, but this was indeed a good opportunity point using the method of meditation to absorb the soul ring and soul bones with all his strength. Although it was still very painful, at this time, it was already within Tianlin's acceptance range. He could bear such a small amount of pain. The body was continuously damaged by the 1,000,000-year soul ring, and then quickly repaired by the Holy Spirit realm. 7 days had passed under this repeated cycle of destruction. Finally, late at night on the 7th day, with an earth-shattering roar, Tianlin's huge spiritual power instantly enveloped the entire Sunset Forest. In the forest, countless soul beasts were frightened out of their wits by this spiritual power. Even soul beasts with 100,000-year spiritual system may not have such huge spiritual power. They were all guessing whether it was a certain one from the Stardao forest. The ferocious beast is here to inspect. Cheyenne Meng Bingxi was extremely excited. Haha, Ziotian, you succeeded. My 1,000,000-year soul ring and 1,000,000-year soul bone have been perfectly integrated with you. From now on, you will definitely be able to work with me. Together, we will become the strongest existence. That's right. Thank you so much, brother Cheyenne Meng. Tianlin looked at the sky. These past few days have been the most painful times in his life. Now that all the hardships are over, a tear fell from the corner of his eye. Ziotian, what's wrong with you? Is it because you have been in too much pain these past few days? This is what you must go through to become a strong person. In fact, you should be happy now. Do you know how strong your mental power is now? Although due to level restrictions, most of them cannot be used, but killing ordinary soul emperors and even soul saints with weaker mental strength instantly is very easy for you now. Cheyenne Meng Bingshan comforted. Tianlin shook his head. No, brother Cheyenne Meng, those pains are not worth my tears. What really makes me relieved is the mountain that has been pressing on my shoulders, Wuhan Palace. I have always been worried that I will not be able to escape from them in the future. I protect my family and friends in my hands, but now, I'm not afraid at all. Whether it's Wuhan Palace or the two empires. Come on, Ziotian, what are you afraid of? Don't forget, we have a bigger goal. Cheyenne Meng Bingkan didn't pay attention to Wuhan Palace at all. After all, it knew that there was something hidden in the Holy Spirit bead. A soul that exceeds the level of a God King. Even if she can't help Tianlin take action, she can guide Tianlin to become a god. Once Tianlin successfully inherits the throne of God, Douluo Continent and even the God realm will no longer be able to find any power to stop him. Brother Cheyenne Meng, you are right. It's because I have become too small. Tianlin wiped away his tears and smiled. He had completely regained his composure point. Then he sat down cross-legged and began to sort out the soul power in his body. How could the millions of years of soul rings and soul bones prevent his soul power from improving even an inch? He found that he had already broken through level 50, but the exact level still needed to be reached. You can only know after hunting the 5th soul ring. Chapter 125 Million Years Soul Skill. One night passed. Tianlin opened his eyes facing the rising sun, and at the same time spread out his left hand. The Holy Spirit bead floated quietly on the palm of his hand, and a white gold halo rotated around the bead point. If you don't look carefully, this looks like a 10-year soul ring, but who would have thought that this is an unprecedented million-year soul ring on the mainland, Xia Ocean. In just one night, all the soul power in your body has stabilized. Your meditation method is really amazing. Qian Mengbingkan said. Of course, this is the meditation method of the newer Empress family. Oh, by the way, you still don't know who the newer Empress is. Let me tell you, she is a very powerful god. Tianlin said with a smile. Qian Mengbingsi did not reply. Not only did it know, but it had also met the descendant of the great goddess Nuwa. However, it could not tell it yet. In order to prevent itself from accidentally spilling the beans, it had to change the topic and said, by the way, Xia Ocean, what skills does my soul ring and soul bone provide you? Tianlin was speechless. Brother Tianmeng, you don't know about the soul ring and soul bone you provided me. Nonsense. I can still make a guess about the soul bone. The soul ring gives birth to different soul skills according to each person's martial soul. How can I guess this? Don't irritate me, just tell me. Well, your millions of years of cultivation are indeed powerful. Each of your soul rings and soul bones has provided me with 4 soul skills, and they are all quite useful. Tianlin stopped being pretentious and explained. The first is the million-year-old skull, which provides me with 4 skills: soul reading, mind taking, mental interference field, and predicting the future. Soul reading is a more domineering soul skill than mind reading. Mind reading can only know what the opponent is thinking, but soul reading can read the entire opponent's life history and even tamper with the opponent's memory. But this trick can only be used when the opponent is mentally weak. Otherwise it will be resisted by the opponent and the success rate will not be that high. Heart taking, as the name suggests, is a soul skill that controls the opponent. Anyone who is hit by this trick will completely become my puppet in a short time. The mental interference field is a large-scale auxiliary skill. In this field, the opponent will due to mental instability. The attack was inaccurate. The last one, predicting the future, is the most terrifying. It has 2 uses. The first one is the same as the name. It predicts what will happen in the future and prepares in advance. The second one is to set the attack in the future. For example, if I set the first soul skill of my magic sword at a location in advance, and the activation time is the 3rd day in the future, then this move will attack at the time point I set. If the 2 methods are used together, they will be most powerful. Of course, this trick also has weaknesses. It cannot be used continuously, and it will take a long time to cool down after one use. The specific time is determined according to the prediction range. After Tianlin finished speaking, Qian Mengbingshu stared at him dumbfounded for a while. All 4 of them were auxiliary skills, similar to the fact that it was not good at fighting, but these 4 skills were a bit too scary. Haha, it is indeed my million-year-old soul bone. It is really great. Qian Mengbingsi was extremely proud and continued enthusiastically. Don't stop. Keep talking. What about my soul ring? I'll give it to you again. What skills are provided? Tianlin nodded. The soul ring. It unlocks my immortal magic. Although it is not the 5 spirit magic, but because of your spiritual ability, it has opened the more precious yin yang magic. The so-called physical attributes belong to the 5 spirits. The spiritual attributes are divided into yin and yang. Brother Tianmeng, your spiritual power is yang, so I have activated the yang system of immortality. The first one is Holy Breath Healing, a large-scale healing soul skill. Its healing ability is just as strong as that of Jiuxin Haitang. If this continues, I think Senior Yi Lingling can be laid off. The second is 5 Spirits Purifying Evil. This is a skill that expels evil spirits. It has extremely strong suppressive power against evil soul masters. The third is to gather energy and restore the soul. The effect is resurrection. It can resurrect people who have just died, and the price is only my soul power. The fourth move is not an immortal technique, but a technique to summon gods, the god of war. Legend has it that Empress Douluo once surrendered the god of war and sealed his power in the Holy Spirit bead. This move is to use your soul ring to temporarily unlock the seal. The strength of the martial god who unlocks the seal is linked to my current strength. With my current level of summoning, the strength of this martial god should be above the Soul Emperor level, about one stage stronger than me. In the future, as I become stronger and stronger, and his power will become stronger and stronger, there are 4 more extremely abnormal soul skills. Forget the first 2, Cheyenne men can accept it, but what the hell is this breath gathering and soul returning skill? It is a skill that goes against the laws of the world. You must know that even gods have to pay an extremely huge price if they want to resurrect people, but the price of gathering breath and returning soul is only Tianlin soul power, and that martial god summoning move more than double Tianlin's strength in every minute point. Now Xian Meng Bingshan completely believes the words of the descendant of Nuwa. The strength of the Nuwa Empress must be tens of millions of times greater than the God King. Therefore, even if it is just a magic weapon left by her, it is far beyond the so-called super in this world artifact. It turns out that the key to unlocking the 5 spirit immortal techniques is the Holy Spirit bead. How could I forget that among the 3 immortal sword emperors, Empress Nuwa is definitely the strongest in terms of magic. This is a matter of course. Tianlin secretly complained to himself he is stupid, but now that the method to unlock the immortal arts has been found, Tang San's Buddha's Fury Tianlin is of little value. Anyway, what is really important is those ordinary hidden weapons. As long as you have money and materials, you can find a group of blacksmiths to make them in batches. The spells can only be made by Tianlin himself. Tianlin cannot spend all his time on this. For the other 5 spirits immortal techniques, he can only do advanced spells. Okay, brother Xian Meng, you now understand my soul skills. Then it's time for us to leave this ice and fire eye. My soul power has exceeded level 50 because of your help. That's just right. I hunted the 5th soul ring of the demonic sword in this sunset forest. You see, what is my current limit? Although my Holy Spirit realm has not degenerated into a barrier again, it does not seem to be as powerful as before. Got it, Xian Meng. Binkan was speechless secretly. Of course, the descendant of Nuwa helped you forcibly improve a few nights ago, but now it is just back to normal. Xiaoshan, although your Holy Spirit realm is no longer so strong, don't forget that you have absorbed my million-year-old skull. Even if 90% of this soul bone is used to carry the million-year-old soul ring, it's increased, but even if it's only the remaining 10%, it's still enough for you to absorb high-level soul rings without exploding to death. Brother Yi, look, it's definitely no problem for you to absorb a spirit beast that's 40 to 60,000 years old now, so sprinkle it on, brother. Xian Meng, where did you learn Cantonese? Tianlin shed a drop of cold sweat, and his focus seemed to be completely off point after the exchange between the two. Tianlin walked out of the ice and fire eyes with satisfaction. This time he did not need anyone's help. Ordinary 10,000-year soul beasts would not be his opponent at all, and there were almost no such beasts in the sunset forest. 100,000-year-old existence. He can walk sideways here. Just as Xianlin set off, Soto City, Shrek Academy, Flanders, Zao Wuji, the Shrek 7 Devils and others also packed their bags and prepared to leave. Kinming came here specially, not just to meet his teachers, but his real purpose was to show Flanders a clear path. Because Shrek Academy was unable to participate in the continent-wide Advanced Soul Master Academy competition, Kinming suggested that they join an Advanced Soul Master Academy. Otherwise, the little monsters would lose this great opportunity to experience. However, this time he did not invite them to join Xiandao Royal Academy, because even if they entered, they could only become one team, and then they would be sent to the finals, and would not be able to play in the early stage. This is what everyone suggested. The most important purpose of this academy competition is to let the young soul masters continue to experience in fighting souls, fight against various types of soul masters, and then grow up. If you are directly recommended to the finals, then participate in this. The most important meaning of the competition is gone. Therefore, what Kinming, fought for the Royal Dao team at that time was the position of the second team. As for the original second team, they knew that they could walk out of the finals without fighting. It was too late to be happy, so how could they be happy? Other opinions. Flanders had the same idea as Kinming. He didn't even want the opportunity to be sent to him. So at Kinming's suggestion, Flanders decided to take the little monsters to Xiandao City to try their luck and see which academy was willing to accept them. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.